Welcome everybody to the Vision Gaming Rocket League Invitational number 5. I'm Hodge, joined alongside Liquipedia. We're going to be guiding you through the action today and tomorrow over the course of both the group stages and the playoffs. We've got a whole bunch of different teams locked and loaded to get themselves into the action today, and well, we've already got our first match already on the horizon. Liquipedia, it is an honor to be here alongside you, and well, I mean, this first match we've already got coming up, it's looking like it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, an interesting one indeed. It's great to finally have a cast with you. We've been so close circle, but we've just never had the opportunity for a cast, and here we are. So it's great to be on the desk, and we do have a lot of very good teams that we are going to see battle it out in the Swiss stage today.
Absolutely. When we start to sort of look at the different teams that we've got, I'm not sure we can maybe. I don't know if we have time. Actually, the players are in the lobby, so we better not spend too much time talking about the match. But essentially, what you need to know is we've got the number 4 seeded team going up against the number 10 seeded team, and we've got 2 different groups. We've got 12 teams split into 2 different groups, 6 in each, and it is going to be top 4 teams in each group make it to those playoffs. So every win counts, and so far we're going to be starting things off in group number 2 with Austrian Force taking on Yumi, I think it is, and yeah, we're gonna just get this game started as soon as we hopefully can, and yeah, we're just gonna. I've got the go from production, so let's kick things off and get things started.
Yeah, I mean, all the players, they are sitting in lobby, they are ready to go, and what I always like to talk about when I am casting games such as Rocket League, first game jitters. That is what this is going to come down to. What team is able to control the jitters first? What team is going to be able to essentially just play Rocket League, right? You're playing in a competition, the nerves, they're a little bit high. They're going to be high in any aspect of Rocket League. I know when I enter comp, I'm all the way up there with nerves, but when you're playing live on stream, you have even more nerves. So what team is going to be able to settle in comfortably as we head into game number 1?
Yeah, game number 1 kicking off here of the Vision Gaming Invitational number 5. Group B, our second group here out of the 2. And 2 teams taking at the field, like we sort of mentioned earlier. One team heavily favoured to sort of, on paper, come out on top, but let's see if that's going to be any sort of different on the pitch here. It already seems that this team of Australian Force, bit of pressure down the side of Yumi, and see what they can do on the side of taking advantage of that pressure. Not so much so far, and now the counter-attack is in session here from Yumi. Let's see if they're going to be able to get the first goal, but no, it looks like it's been swept away over to the Joker, and guess who's laughing already to start off game number 1? Australian Force putting away the first.
Austrian Force, they're gonna be the first team to get a goal on the board. A beautiful pass over to Joker, slots in that blue net, and not even a minute off the clock, and we're already seeing passing plays like that. That's going to set the tone for the game, and Austrian Forces seem to be thriving at the minute. Umi not able to do much as Joker, he puts another on net, and he will get a second, not even a minute in.
Yeah, I mean, Australian Force really starting off strong here. Joker having an absolutely wondrous first minute of the tournament. Let's see if that's going to continue. What do Yumi have to say about this? We'll see if they're able to find some sort of momentum, some sort of response here, because so far it's been quite one-sided, but now here's the opportunity. Now it's on that back wall, but it's been taken away, and second man wasn't quite as clued up on the situation as Australian Force was. We see the shift downfield here, a little bit of pressure. Good start here for Yumi, and shot going to be attempted, but also just taken away there.
Yeah, there's been plenty of shots on that orange net, but none of them have found their way in the back so far. Umi not able to do anything to counter Austrian Force at the minute, as they look to be in a bit of a pickle in their left-hand side corner. able to get it out just for the time being. Not a lot of boost for him to work with. We'll have to pass over into the mid, but ultimately it's going to fall into the hands of Joker, the man who's already scored twice this game. Not able to do much with Anume. They may have an opportunity, but Austrian Force, they're just doing everything at the moment to get these 50s and get the ball out of this orange half. Not done enough as the ball looks to be making its way closer and closer into that net, and it's going to make its way out.
Yep. Good pressure kept up though by Yumi. We'll see if they're able to translate that into anything. That ball's popped up, but it is going to be Australian Force who are fastest to it, and they get that one cleared away. So I think for me, Yumi, they need to be a bit quicker here. They need to speed things up because they're just getting outpaced by Australian Force on every single occasion. Joke getting the beat out on that play as well, and 50's in front of the box. So for panic stations here, it seems, on the defense for Yumi as they scramble around to try and get this under control, as Australian Force now start to swarm on this attack.
Yeah, Austrian Force, they've just come out swinging to me. They're not able to do much at the minute. They put on plenty of attacks, but none of them have found their way in the back of that orange net. Maybe an opportunity. Nooks looks to do something, doesn't have a lot of boost to work with. He'll have to leave his teammate. He's not going to be able to do much either. Nooks, he's back on that ball once again. 40 boost, we'll pick up the 100 and we'll jump for it once more. The ball's in front of the net, and finally, Umi, they come back. They're gonna bring us one goal closer to an equal game with a passing play from Nooks over to Arole. The goal was open and it was pretty much sealed.
There we go. Like you say, finally, Yumi are rewarded for the pressure that they've built up throughout this game. And it comes in the form of a goal from Arole. Let's see if they can double up on that reward, or if things are really going to start to be shut down here by Austrian Force. That ball's going to sort of be launched into the air as they continue this sort of brutal attack that we saw in the first half of the game, and it's looked a little bit less convincing as we have stretched our way towards the mid point of our game and now into the second half. But the defense is being well and truly tested, and I mean, from what looked like a very convincing win at the start of this game, and already a team that we were going to be looking at as maybe, you know, I was at least thinking, Liquipedia, oh, you know, this could be a quite convincing 3-0, but things have been turned around and it's not quite as convincing anymore.
Yeah, no, certainly. You know, Simmermate, they may have had a rough start, but this late game has been awesome for them as Nooks looks to send another one into the net, but it's off of that right-hand side post. Narrowly misses out, and now it turns into a counter-attack for Austrian Force to give themselves a little bit more of a lead. They're not going to be able to do anything for the time being as that ball flies over into the orange half, over into the hands of Arole, and over into the hands of Luke once more. Looks to get past him to his teammate, and he will, over to Cyrus, who's able to pass back to Luke, and we thought this was going to be a pretty close game. But Austrian Force, they have proven once again that they're in the lead of things.
Yeah, I mean, Nukes on the defense there just didn't have the boost to cover that back wall, and when you give the players on Austrian Force an open backboard to shoot from, it's not something that they're going to be missing very often. They prove it right there. 3-1, that goal lead stretches to. 2-goal lead here for Austrian Force, but they're going to be able to hold on to it. Let's find out. They've got good pressure, good possession. That's all they're going to be looking for in these final few seconds. Just control, hold on to this ball, and not give Yumi the opportunities to even dream of a comeback here. And it looks like as that pressure will continue to be kept up, as that ball will continue to reside in the Yumi side of the field, that this will just drop, it will hit the ground, and the first game of the VisionGaming Invitational number 5 will go over to Austrian Force.
Yeah, 3-1 to Austrian Force. What a way to kick it off. You know, they had a really good start, and then mid-game, they kind of lost things a little bit, right? Their defense was not up to par. That allowed Ume to slot one of their own, thanks to Arole. But ultimately, they came back. They won it 3-1. It's not entirely a comfortable situation for them, because Ume, they did show, you know, promising attacks. But they can be okay with that first win, right?
No, definitely. I think, like we sort of saw at the start of the game, it was a very sort of convincing first minute things started to look a bit more like a struggle bus for them as we shifted into the second half, but they were able to wrap things up in the end and in quite a convincing fashion as they managed to continue keeping up the pressure. And I think the midfield sort of dominance is going to be a very big impact for this series. We saw it sort of dictate how the pressure built up on each side, and already the midfield has gone the way of this Yumi side of things, and they've already grabbed the first.
Yeah, already grabbed the first. That's just an over-rotation from Austrian Force. They got a little bit too comfortable. They thought they could make that attack stick, and unfortunately, it turned into a complete counter-attack, which Simmer Umi, they took advantage of. They're able to score the first. In comparison to last game, they're swinging so far.
Yeah, good start for them. Let's see if they can continue that. We saw a little bit of a retribution from them as we headed towards the midpoint of game number 1, but now we get to see a different point of view. Now we get to see them with a little bit of momentum behind themselves, and we'll see how they fare with newfound conditions in the series. Already the attack starts to be being turned around here, but good defense, a good block there from Aureli to really put that attack to an end, stop it in its tracks and send them back to square one. It might be sending them even further back into the minus numbers if they concede another one. But good defense, good blocks coming through. Joker having to stretch out and turn that into a bit of a double commit to get things done. But at the end of the day, if you save it away, that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, definitely. But if the double attacks keep happening, they're gonna get punished eventually, right? One of these teams, they are gonna make a mistake and it's gonna be punished, but there's plenty of demos coming out for the side of Austrian Force. Joker has to make a touch there, leaves it over to Luke, hits off the side wall, and into the midfield, back into the hands of the Austrian Force, but not for long. Joker can't do anything, not a lot of boost to work with, and look, he's left to defend the orange net all by himself as the ball almost works its way in. It's not going to for the time being. An Austrian Force, the double commits are coming out once again. It's still being saved, but when is it going to be punished?
Straining a lot of their resources now. We see a lot of the players on Austrian Force didn't have a lot of boost to work with, but they were able to escape with a bit of hope, bit of a lifeline, and now they look to turn the play around. Nuke's stepping up on the defense and getting that one sort of shifted out of the way, shifting away the danger for the rest of his team, alleviating some of the pressure, but the pressure will continue to be applied from the side of Austrian Force. They're getting open backboards, open nets to sort of shoot at here, and that's not really what you want. But now, have they over-rotated once again? It seems that way, and Nuke snipes it from downtown.
Yeah, another over-rotation. Nuke's able to just send a long shot. Didn't even need to make the pass over to Aureli because the shot, it was on net. There was no one from Austrian Forces who could have saved that. It's an over-rotation. It's another mistake from the team that came out swinging in the first game. We thought it was going to be pretty comfortable, but so far, game number 2 has just proven us wrong. Umi, they're here to put up a performance, and it looks like they're on target once again. Nukes looks for the double tap, not able to find it. Ultimately, it's going to fall back into that back forward. Nukes again tries to find it. He won't, but Arku will, and that'll slot the third goal in for Umi. And Austrian Force, they're just crumbling at the minute.
Well, if anything, even if that sort of aerial attack didn't quite work, it certainly got the defenders staring at the stars, and that allowed it sort to be a bit perceived as a fake there to get that third goal. UME really sort of stepping things up here in game number 2 after that game 1 performance and really putting the number 4 seed in the tournament with their backs certainly against a wall in game 2. But will that continue? Will they be able to find a redemption goal, or will the pressure from Yumi just continue to dial up as they look for more, look to try and close out game number 2 and even out the series? Things will be hurled onto the backboard of Yumi once again, but we've seen Austrian Force, they've got a lot of pressure throughout this game, but not necessarily, you know, many of these chances have been converted. When you look at the shots, they've managed to put it forward these shots, and it's just unfortunate that these shots that they're coming through just aren't quite, you know, dangerous enough to really warrant much of a threat to the side of Yumi.
No, Umi, they are not having any threat at the minute. They are the threat. They're putting Austrian Force, you know, into the defense. They've not really been able to make much of an attack at all, but maybe opportunity might strike as the ball will find itself in that midfield over into the hands of Luke shortly over to Role, but Joker, he has arrived to give Austrian Force their first opportunity to really sink one in the back of the net. Instead, it will go straight to the hands of Arku and up that side wall. And ultimately, Austrian Force, they're not really able to put much of an attack on. Simmerumi, they're running circles all over them at the minute as we're back in the orange half once again. They don't need to play aggressive. They have 3 goals, but, you know, a consolation will never hurt, right? Nukes passes it over into the midfield, but Arole not quite got the boost to do a lot with that. We'll just have to send it onto the backboard, and ultimately Austrian Force, they might maybe just have an opportunity to roll with the own goal actually off of the backboard. Austrian Force, you take that, right? You had a good attempt, but Arole, he's just gonna slot it in for you basically. There's nothing that you can do there. You take that goal, you move on. 2 more until an equal game.
Yeah, well, certainly, you know, it's always good to get that goal, just to sort of prove that you can do it, prove that you still got it. And while we know that Austrian Force certainly does, we haven't really seen proof of them putting it together until there in this game so far. It's nice to see them sort of break out of what felt like a UME trap. It felt like UME had just really sort of put their foot down on the accelerator this game and didn't really want to take it off it. They weren't putting a foot on the brake to go around the corners. They were very much full acceleration into every single part of that game, and it ended up warranting them a 3-1 victory in game number 2. So even out on the series, and well, you know, we've got a nice viewpoint from this series, right? We've got some lovely sort of production casting shebangs going on here on the main stream. But if you want to get maybe one of these teams specific points, there is also team streams happening as well. Both of these teams are doing their own team streams, and if you want to go and tune into them, make sure you take a look at the pinned message in chat. But that's you know, it on the team stream side, and back to the official broadcast side. Game number 3 getting itself underway, Lecky. Who is going to take the lead in this series, and who is going to find themselves as part of the chasing pack in game 4?
Yeah, well, we are on an equal playing field. Both teams, they have 1 series to their name. It's all going to be about who can get the opening goal, as Joker looks to be the first. It's going to narrowly miss out on that blue net, but Austrian Force, they seem to be coming and swinging so far. But Simmerumi, we know what they're capable of, and they're capable of a lot more than conceding that open goal, as the ball looks to find its way over into the hands of a Role. The double commit comes up from Austrian Force. It might allow Nukes a shot on target, but no, Joker stands in the way like a wall, and the demos are gonna come out all over the field. This is gonna be a very aggressive round number 3.
Certainly is. Already start off this game, like you say, demos to open up some space for both teams, and I think really what Austrian Force have got to watch is just for those overcommits, just making sure they're not getting a little bit too aggressive for their liking, making sure their backline is certainly locked down here, not giving Yumi these sort of opportunities that you don't really want to be giving away, and Arco going to be sending that one a bit further down the pitch. And although, you know, it's good pressure, it has just been picked up and turned into a bit of a counter-attack here. It's all about just fighting over this midfield like we mentioned in game number 1. Both of these teams just look so in form. I think we expected this to be a lot more one-sided than it's been so far, Lecky, and it's nice to see both teams really come into play here today.
Yeah, both teams are showing their strengths, they're showing the weaknesses, and they're showing that they can do what is needed. Role with a shot on net, might be followed by Arku, but the saves coming up from both Joker and Cyrese as well might turn into a counter-attack for Austrian Force as they look to put the first goal of this game. Instead, it's going to be sent back into their own half, and they're going to have to play a little bit of defense to get away this strong Ume team. But Nukes, he's up once again. Not a lot of boost to work with, but the aggression's there. They're putting up the fight. It's just, can they turn that into a goal-winning opportunity? It's honestly like a game of ping pong at the moment, right? It is just about this midfield, who can control it, like we mentioned, and any team could get this ball in at any moment.
Very much counter-attack Rocket League right now that we're witnessing. It seems like there's a couple of players on each side who are going for these wacky solo plays, and then the ball is just instantly picked up by the other team. That's a massive mistake. And Joker's certainly going to be taking full advantage. A little bit of a whiff there from Arco on that back wall. Arley had to try and react, and unfortunately, Joker came barreling down and just robbed it straight from his clutches.
Yeah, Austrian Force, they're going to put the first of game number 3 on the board. That might be the goal that they need to get them in the swing of this game number 3 to get them one game closer to taking the entire series home. But if we know anything, Simmerumi, they're not going to stop putting up a fight. But this ball works over into that corner again. Cyrus almost get the shot into the back of the net. Instead, we'll have to rotate out and make another attempt at it. He can't get the double touch either, but it's okay. Luke is up. Can't do much with it. Not a lot of boost to his name. And now finally, maybe Umi, they have a bit of an opportunity to turn it into a counter as the ball flies high upfield. It goes into the hands of Luke and over to Arku with the save. And this game is so unbelievably close. Austrian Force, they're putting up so much aggression right now. But Simmer Umi, their defense is beautiful.
It really is. I mean, this Yumi defense side, we've seen it struggle a couple of times, but now they're excelling. Now that's an open net to shoot in! And Nukes is going to take advantage of that every single time. That's equalised. Game 3 can still go anyone's way. And Yumi is straight back in the action.
Yeah, well, we thought that, you know, it was going to go either way, and that's what we've just been shown. Ume, they equalise. We are 1-1 in game number 3. This could not be closer as we reach the 1.5 minute mark. Both these teams are going to have to put up incredible performances of display for their defense, for their offense. What team's going to be the first to prevail? It might just be Simmer Umi with the pass over to Nukes. Instead, it will be saved by Cyrus, and now turns into an counter attack. Not for long as Nukes puts up a little bit of an attack of his own, down over to Arku. Tries to find one of his blue teammates, but will not find anyone for the time being. A minute left, and we could be seeing our first overtime.
Very well could. Let's see if that's going to be the case. Now Joker, is he going to put it top corner? No, he's taken away. And Arley also keeping that one off the top of his car as well. Keeping it out of the clutches of Austrian Force, but 40 seconds still left to go. It's not over yet. Regulation could still be the end for one of these teams. Or will overtime be beckoning here on Manfield? Oh, a little bit of a test in the waters here from both teams on the attack, but looks like it is going to be cleared away. Picked up once again, though, by Austrian Force. They might get another bite at the cherry before this timer hits 0.
15 seconds left of Austrian Force. If they can turn this into an attack of their own, you know, this could as well go into that blue net. Looks to do that, but instead we'll find Arley in the middle of the field. And ultimately, this ball looks like it's going to hit the ground, and we might get our first overtime unless Austrian Force sink this in the back of the blue net. Down over to Joker, plenty of boost to work with, but he will find the likes of Arley in his path. Down to Cyrus in front of the blue net, and we have hit the ground, and we've hit overtime.
First overtime here of the Invitational. Let's see how long it's going to last. How long is it going to be until one of these teams is going to give something, going to give an inch to the other team, because that's all it takes here at this level between these two teams. They've shown it. They can make mistakes. They can have brilliant moments, and it's all going to come down to those moments. 20 seconds already elapsed, and starting to see the pressure build a little bit here from Yumi, but nothing too detrimental to Austrian Force just yet. They're going to look to get control of this, but a little bit of a sort of possession shift we're seeing here.
Yeah, definitely. This ball has just kind of been thrown into both teams' hands, and it's all about who can do the most with it, who can maximize their time on the ball. And honestly, we have no idea. Both these teams are head to head right now. It's honestly just a matter of time before this ball sinks into the back of one of these nets. But who will it be by? Joker's there to put a shot on net. It won't find its way in, but instead will find its way into the hands of Arku. It will find Cyrus. It will find the block in the midfield and allows Austrian Force another chance at this blue goal. Give an inch, they might just take a mile with Joker on the ball. He looks to sink it into the net, but Nukes playing master defense. He's going to keep it out for the time being.
Yeah, Yumi right now got this defense on lock, but that can all change in an instant. Oh, and it will! Joker from up high! able to call game here in game number 3. It took a minute and a half, but we have our answer. Australian Force rebounding after that game number 2, and they're going to look to take this series. One more is all they need.
One more, yeah, that is it. They need one more game and they will take the series. But that was 2-1, right? That was in an overtime. That was not comfortable whatsoever. You had Joker score both of your goals. All of your players, they need to be scoring goals as well.
I just realised I've called them Australian Force. Yeah.
Wrong country.
Wrong country, wrong continent. Thank you, Kasalian, the legendary producer, for correcting me on that one. I have to say, I will get team names wrong many times throughout this tournament, so get used to it. But series not over. Game number 4 ready to go, and hopefully no one's clipped that and put it in a Twitter highlight, because that would be very disappointing. Apparently everyone's changing nationalities today, and we'll see how things are going to work out at the end of this game. Who's going to take the win? Is game 5 inbound? Is things over now and we're looking at the next series? Let's find out.
Yup, let's find out. Austrian Force, they are up in the series so far. They need one more game to take the win, and they're going to kick us off with the first goal, and they look to seal their fate in the Invitational in round number 1 versus Simmer Ume. It's only just a matter of time before they take it all.
Feels that way, but we've seen responses, we've seen answers come through, and that's a hell of a one. Nukes, oh my word, from the halfway line, a bullet off the bonnet, and that's just what you can expect. It's everything you can ask for from Yumi.
It is literally everything you can ask for, the response that they need, and that is going to kick them in the swing of an equal game and get their hopes a little bit, alive. They still have time to turn this around. Yes, they are on the back burner, but keep showing performances like that, and you will be able to prevail. Austrian Force looking to have a little bit of a response to that equalization. Joker off of the ceiling, able to get another touch on the ball. Won't really find the third, but instead will find his teammate Luke, who looks to put it into the net. Won't do it this time round, as Nuke now has an opportunity of his own. Not for long as the demos come out to play from Luke. It's a really aggressive playstyle from Austrian Force, but it seems to be doing bits so far.
So far it does. Ball ricocheting over to the side walls. Everyone scraps around to try and not just get control of this ball, but get a grasp on this series. I mean, we've seen different times, different positions that these teams have fought from controlling positions and also from sort of chasing deficits. But who's going to be put into a deficit the next? Dukes has a bit of a 1v3, but is taken off the field. A crucial demo there coming through from Austrian Force to allow them an escape opportunity, to allow them to turn this game around, to take a shot at the net, but that's going to be hit away, or is it? Joker playing the second man position to perfection, and he's in there with the second.
And the second goal is going to be scored by a nice little team play from Austrian Force. And just when we thought Simmer, they had the chance to turn this around, take us to an equal series, Austrian Force, they have stamped their foot firmly in the ground and they want to end it in 4. But we still have 3 minutes on the clock. Anything can happen. A little bit of a team play coming up from Austrian Force. They don't need to play as aggressive as they have been, but they're going to keep it up anyway. They want more goals. They want an even bigger, comfortable lead in this Invitational. But Simmer, it's time for their own attack. Over to Nukes, who looks to send the ball into that orange net and into the hands of Arole, who to further progress this attack. It's not going to work out this time as Austrian Force, they have their hands on the ball firmly. They have their hands on maybe another opportunity. Not for long. Arku up, plenty of push, but will be bumped out of the way by Streaks. It's not going to amount to much at the minute, and Simmer, they're gonna have to do something to bounce back.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Attack opportunity from Yumi. Can they find a response? Because right now, Austrian Force have certainly got themselves under control, and I wish I could say the same thing about this pronunciation. But let's see if Yumi could find a response. Arley waiting eagerly on the wall to try and play a little bit of a sort of I don't know what the word. You know when you think of a word and then you don't.
It's just gone. Yeah.
It's gone instantly like that. I don't even know anymore. But we found the counter attack. We found a response. An Austrian force. They're looking to double up on their lead.
Yep, they're looking to, and they will double up on their lead. They take game number 4 into a 3-1 2-goal deficit is what stands between them and victory. Simmerman, they're not putting on a lot of attacks. They're forced to play defense the majority of the time. They've not really had possession, and when they have, it's been a little bit like hot potato. They've just kind of thrown the ball about and given it into the hands of Austrian force, who ultimately, they've capitalised on the opportunities they have been given. Simmerman are going to have to take a page out of their book if they want to stay in this round for even longer as we head into a minute 30.
Minute 30 left, still plenty of time for opportunities, plenty of time for extra variables to come into the mix here in this game at number 4. But will Yumi be able to find something? You have to think they need something soon to set themselves up for a bit of a redemption arc in the final minute. That's going to drop down. That's a free ball. Shrieks has already pre-jumped it as Austrian force just look to keep this out of the clutches of Yumi. But Arley already sort of up for that one, already pre-jumping it, but everyone's committed. The backlines have been drawn wide open, but the connection's going to be missed by both players, and the lifeline's been granted for Yumi.
Yeah, lifeline has been granted, but they're still having to play a lot of defense. The ball is not out of their territory yet. The orange half, they are still putting up a performance now. Finally, they can rest, but they still have a lot of work to do. They have 2 goals that they need to get within 40 seconds. It's gonna have to take a miracle if they keep playing the way they are, because Austrian force, they're running, or should I say driving circles over this team at the minute. But Nukes maybe with an opportunity instead. No, it will fall over to the hands of Luke, but it will also fall into the back net, and we could have a good chance for Ume.
26 seconds, certainly enough time. And what can maybe be thrown into the mix here by Yumi to try and find this crucial goal that they needed? It's a kickoff goal. Wonderful kickoff strat. A quickie up the middle. That's all you need. That's an equalizer. And now we stare down at that timer. What is the reality of the situation? Because I could not tell you. 23 seconds. The kickoff strats, will they be dived into the bag of tricks? Because, I mean, the answer to that's no, but we still got 15 seconds where both teams have got to survive.
Yeah, 15 seconds. I mean, Austrian force, they were in the lead of this firmly, and they've just let their guard down, and we are going to head into golden goal territory if neither of these teams can score within the last 2 seconds. The ball flies up high over into the hands of Joker, but ultimately we're trying to find the ball to the ground, and that is what we have found as we head into our second overtime of game number 1, or series number 1, should I say. Austrian force, they just need to sink it in the back of the net, and they've got the series.
Well, is it going to be that simple? Have Yumi got another variable to add into the mix and continue on this sort of potential on paper upset? Obviously we haven't seen the teams play just yet, but in terms of seeding wise, Austrian force coming in as the number 4 seed. If you look towards Yumi, they're all the way down in 10th, so certainly be a match that would be very crucial for them to pick up on their quest to try and move up in the group stage. But now that's a little bit interesting. It's cleared away by Yumi as they sort of look to set out their rotations a little bit more cleanly. Arco's just missed the ball, now playing off of that bump, just sort of disrupting the first man and allowing Arley to get that sent downfield. But the opportunity, it's presented itself, it's down low, too slow for Austrian force, and Yumi back from the dead, it felt like. A kickoff strap bought them the OT, and now Arley extends it to a game 5.
Game number 5, and this is the first matchup that we have had of the day. We have game 5 already. We've had 2 overtimes. We have had very close scoreboards indeed, and we thought that was over with, right? We thought that Umi, there was no way they were coming back, and then all of a sudden, one opportunity led to a miracle kickoff, led to a miracle overtime, and they're back in the swing of things. Their hope is still alive. They have one more game to redeem themselves, and honestly, it's gone brilliant for them. Now, how do they capitalize on this another life that they have been given, right? They need to keep up the same level of performance. Is the jitters going to be there? Are the nerves going to get to them in this final game 5? Or are we going to see a bit of a masterclass from our 10th seeded team?
It is all going to come down to this, and what has been such a close series on both sides now is going to sort of could decide a lot here when you look at the sort of standings. I mean, if this team of Austrian Force is going to go down to the sort of number 10th seed, what is their rest of the season going to look like when you start to look at, you know, the rest of the tournament, rest of the group stage, when you start to look at the teams that now they've got to start to beat after going down to the number 10th seed. I mean, things might just become a little bit harder for them as the tournament's going to progress, but that's going to be answered in the future. For now, we've got to look at the present. We've got to look towards game number 5, and already we're staring down the barrel of a potential 1-0 lead, but it's not who you might think it'll be, as the counter-attack now being played into the favour of Yumi. They're looking to start off strong, both teams showing their cards, but so far the dealers sort of keeping the deck of cards locked away.
Teams, they're just trying to feel each other out at the minute. They want to make the most of these next 4 minutes, and they don't want any mistakes, because the opposite team, they are going to capitalize and they will punish. The ball finding itself in that very important midfield, like we talked about. That is going to be what decides who goes home with the series, who can control the midfield. And at the minute, it looks like Umi are doing a fantastic job as that ball tries to find its way into the hands of Arole, and instead will find its hands into Cyreeks, who uses the flip reset, try and get over one of the Umi players, but ultimately RQ is there, can't quite turn this into a shot of his own, but Austrian Force, they can, and look, with the first goal of game number 5.
Already, what a beat there from Luke, just tackling almost the Yumi player, getting that one over the top. An Austrian Force already with the first, but Yumi, we've seen them pull out clutch kickoff strats. It's already another one. Just a classic cheat up the middle. This time it's not going to garner them a goal now. What are we looking at? What is going to be the sort of force that's going to buy them some pressure here? Sort of playing along this side wall, but they're not able to get that under control. Nuke's going to be put up to the task here, and it's a task that he might not be up to. Shirey, is it Streams? Streaks. Gonna put that one away there, and that's the lead double here for Austrian Force.
Yeah, I mean, 2-0 up, and they're looking pretty comfortable. There is still 3 minutes left in the game, so similarly, we saw a comeback that was almost straight out of a movie. We saw that last game. Can we see it again with another great kickoff in their favour? But unfortunately, it won't be capitalised on for the time being. Arole not able to get the touch on the ball that he wanted, and will have to leave it into the hands of RQ, who plays perfectly. Can't quite get it over Shrieks, but can get it into the hands of his teammate Nukes. Back down into that midfield. Nukes tries to get a little redirect touch onto that ball. Won't quite work out this time, but instead they still have a lot of possession. But for how much longer? Joker, he's bringing out the demos, and I think Austrian Force, they know that demos are just what they're gonna need to use to capitalize against the Simmer team. They don't want to give them any chances at their own goal. They want to be the ones on target, and they are, but it's not going to find its way into the back of the net.
2-0 lead, that can certainly be exploited still with the 2 minutes still remaining. We've seen comebacks from, you know, a lot less time than this to work with in Rocket League, and I think we still definitely can't count Yumi out after what we've seen them do so far this series. Arco trying to run this down the line, demo on the back line, but that second man a little bit out of the play, a little bit inaccurate on that shot, and that's a chance that's gone to waste a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, that should be something that you are converting, especially in this tough situation, but there's still a minute 50, there's still plenty of time for Simmerumi to get some on the board, especially now they seem to have found their footing. They have a lot of possession in this blue half, but as soon as I see that, it's a little bit of caster's curse, isn't it? The ball's going to find its way over into the hands of Austrian force, but it's alright. You know, they still have time, like I've mentioned, over into the hands of Nukes, who instead will just misread that ball and won't be able to get a touch on it, and will have to play defense, will have to rotate back out, and that's not what you want to be doing when you have so little time and you still have 2 goals to score. Yes, last game you had a miracle, but you need more than a miracle now. You need RQ to slide one into the back of the net and give you your first, and give you your hopes of staying in this Invitational and staying in the lead alive.
Lovely, lovely fake there by RQ. He's got the other team dancing on ice. But will that be enough to start creating opportunities for them to start turning this into a reality? Fake off of the play. Arley looks to throw it on the backboard. Nukes next up, but that's going to be kept away well by Shrieks. And now we're going to continue to keep our eyes fixated on this Austrian force side of the field. The Shrieks looks to play this from his own back wall. Looks to go cross court. That court's been cut in half, and the chances now flipped over to the side of this Yumi team. 30 seconds still left to play with, and they need a miracle.
And they do, or they just need a rollie to sink one in the back of the net. He's not going to be able to do that, but will fall over to RQ, over to Nukes, who just hits the post, but they don't really have much that they can do. There's no boost, and they're just all over the place. They're fighting for any possession that they can have right now. And Austrian force are going to take advantage of that. They're going to mess with their minds. Honestly, they've just got to find something. There's 5 seconds left on the clock. Aroli needs to make a touch, and he will. But for how much longer? The ball's going to hit the floor unless RQ can get to it. Luke will hit it up into the ground, over to Cyrex, and that is it for Simmer Ume. They fought back, but unfortunately not hard enough.
It was a good effort there from Yumi, but Austrian force getting it done in game 5, getting it done at the end of the day, and the number 4 seed stands tall and moves to 1-0 in their group. But I mean, it was an incredible first match to kick us off there. Game 5, really good start, excuse me, to the tournament, showing what some of these teams have capable of. But that is obviously not it. We've still got a lot more action to go today. We've still got 4 more matches to cover on stream and 4 more rounds to go over. So we're going to take a very short break, but when we come back, we'll have our next match lined up and ready to go. See you shortly. Welcome back, everybody, to the VisionGaming Invitational number 5. I'm Hodge, joined alongside Liquipedia once again, and we're ready for our second series. We got a banger game 5 on our first, but now we're swapping over to the other group, excuse me, and we've got a match where teams have had very different performances so far. We've got Dive Esports coming off the back of a 3-0 win against BS+COMPETITION, and then when you look over to the side of their opponents, FireGoldSharks, they are coming off of a 3-0 loss to VisionGaming. So it can all be sort of up in the air here. But other than that, I think we've got all the players in the lobby and we're ready to go. So, Liquipedia, are we ready to kick things off here?
Yeah, all the players, they are in lobby. They are revving to go into their second game of the night. Obviously, 2 very different first game results. So we're not entirely sure what we will see here. Will we see another landslide from the side of Dive Esports, or will FGS, as I'm just going to shorten it, so much easier, but will they find their first win of the night, or will they continue their losing streak? Only time is going to tell, but we have all the players in, they're on the field, and we're ready.
We certainly are. Players getting themselves locked into the match. And Group A, now we get to see on stream. Let's see what sort of things it has to offer, and already it's a very quick goal. Dive Esports diving right into the action. A lovely kickoff goal. And that is just turning upfield. And that is the benefits of that sort of playstyle on kickoff. Lovely to see.
Yeah, a lovely first goal to kick us off 5 seconds into the game, and already I can tell this is going to be aggressive. Turb not only getting a goal, he will get 2 demos to kick us off. But now it's time for FGS to put up an attack of their own. Not for much longer, as Juju will find maybe the double touch. There's a clip for him in this Invitational. What a way to kick off game number 2. I can see why it was a 3-0 sweep in game number 1 when you're having attacks like that.
Yeah, you're looking towards sort of dive. I mean, they're doing everything right so far. You've got a player taking the shot. You've got a player on the back wall hassling the defense, making things a bit more difficult for them. And now we're going to have to see what sort of response we're potentially going to get, or maybe not at all. Maybe it's going to be 3-0 in the first 30 seconds, and already 30 seconds into this series, we're starting to write off game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to start your second series of the day. 3-0, we're not even 30 seconds in. FGS, they're gonna have to do a lot if they want to compete against the 5 esports team, who are putting up numbers and they're putting up attack after attack. Clip potential is through the roof for them at the minute, but FireGoldSharks, they're here for a reason. They want to show their own potential on the field, and they're gonna have to do that pretty quickly with how aggressive the 5 esports are playing. But it looks like they might have their first opportunity of an attack to really get themselves, you know, in the swing of things. It's already gone for FGS. Ultimately, it's back in the hands of 5 esports. They're able to go for another cheeky shot at the goal. Won't concede anything as of yet, but maybe Juju with another double tap, he might be able to. He won't, but it's alright, you're 3-0 up. You don't have to be scoring those.
Yeah, I mean, you've got quite the cushion to work with if you dive esports here. They've really gone headfirst into this game, into this series, and now a response is needed. Is it slow played? Is it a fake? The fake's red, and I mean, it's pandemonium here on the goal line for FireGoldSharks. I mean, they're just throwing everything at it, but Dive Esports, they've just got everything sort of tied down with T, it seems.
Yeah, they've got everything that they need at the minute, but do they have the defense? Not quite, as FireGoldSharks are able to put up one of their own to begin with. A nice shot into the goal there from Genji, and that's gonna kick them off into the swing of things. 2 more goals is all that stands between them and an equal game. If they can keep putting up performances like that, keep putting up attacks, they're going to find themselves successful at some point, but will it be sooner rather than later? Because Dive Esports, they're on the end of it already, and Engine, the perfect response to that goal that FGS were able to score. Dive Esports, they don't want any hope for FGS in this game. They're going to score another in great fashion.
This sort of game so far doesn't prove that the seeding is just out the window, then I don't know what sort of does. I mean, you've got the number 7 team seeding wise currently. I mean, they've already dispatched the number 5 seeded team in their group in the last round in a 3-0 fashion, but now, I mean, not quite as highly seeded of an opponent. They very much should be sort of geared up to win this in quite a convincing fashion, but this is not the fashion I thought we were going to be seeing. I mean, 5-1, this is destructive, this is unforgiving, you know, on the attack sort of side of things. What are we even watching anymore? I'm kind of unsure.
Yeah, Joe, honestly, when we had game number 1, or series number 1, should I say, that was so close, right? We were on the edge of our seat the entire time. We didn't know who was going to win that. It could have been anyone, and now we have a landslide for Dive Esports. It almost seems like FGS, they're just not on the same playing field as Dive Esports are. I mean, they're here for a reason, but you need to show it, and they've not really had many attacks at this goal. When they have, they've not been on target apart from that one time by Genji, so they're going to put in an awful lot of work if they want to take round number 1 in this series. But Dive Esports, you're 4 goals ahead, and you're just not slowing down.
Not slowing down, and the pace will just continue to pick up, and at this rate, we're on the way to Brazil. Forget Switzerland, forget the VisionGaming LAN taking place live in Switzerland. We might have to relocate here, Lecky. We might have to sort of pack our bags and go to Brazil, because this is getting out of hand here.
It looks like FGS, their bags are all packed, they're waiting at the airport, they're getting loaded onto the plane. Dive Esports, they want to take us to Brazil. We're not there quite yet, but the plane is booked, the tickets are there. FGS, you have to do something right now to even, get a goal on the board again, get your hopes alive. Keep putting up the pressure, and you're getting the demos, that's great, but you need to be doing something with them. Ultimately, Turp is going to be able to... Oh, he's not going to be able to do much, actually. Genji, there we go. There's the goal that we're on about. That could just be what sets FGS in the swing of things. Yes, they're 4 goals down. Yes, they only have a minute 26. But it's Rocket League. Anything can happen.
Anything truly can happen. But will anything happen? I mean, 4 goals, minute and a half. We've seen crazy things. Is this out the realm of possibility? No. Is it unlikely? Very much so. And this would certainly be a performance of all time and really an entertainment of all time if that was to really happen. But I think they may be overcooked a little bit with that one, have the Sharks, and they might find the unfortunate end of the jaws of Dive. And 1 minute still remaining. So I think we're starting to get into the impossible realms of things now. And LequiSpec, to be honest, I would be incredibly surprised if we saw a response now. I mean, this is domination.
Yeah, it's pure domination that we're seeing from Dive Esports, and the clip potential is crazy as well. I've got to say, the double taps, they've been coming out to play, and FGS, they've not had anything to counter. Yes, they put up 2 goals of their own, but they've just been purely on the mistakes of positioning from Dive Esports. They've not really shown any mechanical play, and Dive Esports, they are, they're going for crazy passing plays, they're going for clips now, because they have ram number 1 secured, or do they? NJIP had to make a save, but yeah, I mean, they do, because there's 20 seconds left, so there's not much that FGS can do apart from get a couple of consolation goals, and that's what Genji is going to try and do. A consolation goal, it's great, but ultimately you're looking into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a point now. Let's not beat around the bush. This is over. This is more than over. I think for me, if you're FireGoldSharks, you've got to be using this time to really think about what's gone wrong. What do we need to do to change the tide of this game, and sort of use it as a bit of an extra timeout. More than anything, because this is well and truly over. You might get a sort of compensation goal, but at the end of the day, it won't really matter. Timer will tick down. Game number 1 has certainly been off to an interesting start here as Dive Esports obliterate the FireGoldSharks, and I have to say, I am a bit speechless and clueless as to what the FireGoldSharks are going to have to change to improve off of that, because it really did just seem like Dive Esports were just better from the first opening seconds right until the very end.
Yeah, no, it did seem that Dive Esports, they were driving circles around FGS, right? There wasn't much that they could do, and I don't think there's really much they can do. I mean, yes, it was only 1 game, but that game was... It was crazy. That's probably the only way that we can describe it, right? 7-3, 4 goals that you lost out by. You had to get 4 goals to even equalize against this team. And this team, they had the possession, they had passing plays, they had individual plays. Every member of Dive Esports, they had at least 2 goals. FGS relied on Genji just to get 3 alone. He had the hat trick, and the other 2 players didn't really contribute as much. So I am going to say, if FGS, if they have a chance to play against this Dive Esports team, they need to all work together as a team, right? They need to be capitalizing on their team play just as much as Dive Esports are as we head into game number 2.
Yeah, game number 2 getting itself underway, and let's see if this underdog team of FireGoldSharks can find a way, find something, find anything to really kickstart themselves in this series, because so far it's been, I guess the best way to put it was probably, it's been a funeral, and now they're going to have an opportunity. Now they're going to get the first goal, and I think the only way I can describe that is Dive getting a little bit overconfident.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of their downfall, right? They are really aggressive, they are confident, but you can't get too confident. You can't play very aggressively and over-rotate, and FireGoldSharks are going to need to capitalize when that happens. They're going to have to notice the mistakes, and capitalize almost immediately, and that's what Genji was able to do. It allowed FGS the lead of game number 2, but for how much longer as Dive Esports, they look to rotate on this ball. Engib sends it flying high, but Genji will send it into the hands of Lally, who will be able to send the goal into the back of the orange net once more for FGS. And what was a promising start from Dive Esports kind of turns into the unexpected.
What a response already to start things off. I think so far it really is. As much as I, love the adaptations that have been made here, coming through from this roster of FireGoldSharks, I think it is all round just Dive Esports getting a little bit overconfident, thinking they've still got a bit of a similar lead, starting to, really sort of play with confidence. They've got to sort of dial things in a little bit. Remember that it's not a free win. It's still very much a series that can be lost. This is still a good team that they're playing against. You can't give them those sort of opportunities because they will absolutely take full advantage. But 50 going to be attempted to be played, not a lot of boost to work with. So now Turb's going to be up for that one, but it's just a high octane aggression coming through from Dive Esports as they work to try and find another grasp on this game, and they will get their response. They will get that goal, and it didn't take them too long.
Yeah, no, not too long at all. There's 3 minutes 32 still in this game. They finally found the response to FireGoldSharks. Just killer of a start. And now I think Dive Esports, once they have, the first goal, they should kind of have the swing of things. They should have the momentum they need. But FGS, they have scored 2. They have the momentum they need as Genji makes the pass over to Lally. It's not going to find Lally for the time being, and instead will find a bit of a counter-attack. Not for long. FGS, it looks like a completely different team, if I'm going to be honest, from game number 1. But that's exactly what you want to see. You felt the team of Dive Esports out. Can you now finally bring the game to a series, equalizer? Hopefully, there's still plenty of time for them to do it, but there's plenty of time for Dive Esports to get back in the swing of game number 2 as they look to put on an attack of their own. There's not a lot of boost for their players to work with, but it doesn't mean they won't keep up the aggression.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes still remaining, and that lead's still held here by FireGoldSharks. That can turn around and very quickly, so they can't really let up. They've got to continue to show what they showed us in the first opening minute or so, because right now we're seeing things start to shift. And this underdog roster, they've maybe sort of sniffed blood in the water, but now it's being very much turned around, and Dive Esports certainly starting to sort of ramp up the pressure.
Up the pressure they are. Dive Esports, they bring us to an equal game, and now are they able to take the lead of game number 2 for the first time? Essentially, it's only going to be a matter of seconds or minutes. We're going to find that out in, but the ball is finding itself in the hands of Dive Esports, who look promising after their second goal over into the hands of Juju, who's not able to redirect it into the orange net at the current state, but is still able to keep the ball alive and keep the dream of Dive Esports alive. Juju not able to find another touch, and Engib not able to find the 50 that he wants. It leaves Turb in a very vulnerable position. Will have to go for that early 50, and will have to wait for his teammates to rotate back, and that's exactly what they do. A minute 30, and honestly this game could go either way, and we didn't expect that.
No, that 2-goal lead gained earlier on by this underdog team, and this FireGoldSharks roster, we know what they can do. We've seen them in the Awaken League before as an organization, not having wonderful success, trying out loads of different rosters. This roster's the one that they felt like could sort of stick a little bit more than others, and we're going to see if that's going to pay off for them here in this event. There's sort of been glimmers of success, but in this game, they've still sort of struggled to put things together, put these opportunities, put some of this pressure together when they need to the most. Cyberlook just trying to continue this down the wing into the corner and create an opportunity for their team to sort of strive to a new height, but that's a pass, that's a lovely shot, and this is now just Dive Esports styling on them.
styling on them, it's definitely the right way to put it. They had plenty of clips that they could have taken in game number 1. Yes, they've gotten off to a bit of a shaky start in game number 2, but they're back in the swing of things. They're showing the same performance that they did in game number 1. It's taken a while for it to show, but it's there, and they just have to hold on. Yes, it is 30 seconds. It might not be entirely impossible for FireGoldSharks, but they're really not putting up any attacks at the minute that could even fathom just the power of Dive Esports. Turb will look to send that over onto the backboard of the blue net, but nothing will come of it for now. Instead, the ball will find its hand into Lales, over to Genji. She's able to send it flying into this orange half. This is the last opportunity for FireGoldSharks to do something to send us into golden goal territory. They might be able to, but the save comes out from Engine, and that might just put their dreams in the bin as Juju looks to hit the ball into the ground, and Dive Esports narrowly take game number 2.
What a crucial save to keep things away, keep things out there from this squad of Dive. I mean, FireGoldSharks, they are doing a great job to sort of, you know, create opportunities and really sort of push Dive Esports a little bit. But aside from the first minute there, and right at the very end, for the majority of that game, didn't quite feel like it was, you know, under their control at all. It felt like Dive Esports certainly had a grasp on the series and on the game. And now game number 3 underway. Let's see if this FireGoldSharks roster has got anything left in the tank, or if maybe they're just going to be swimming with the fishies.
Yeah, this is literally do or die for FireGoldSharks. They're going to have to put up a killer performance against Dive Esports. Yes, they've done it like a great performance in game number 2, but it wasn't enough. They need to bring out everything in this game, where they will be 2 games down in the Invitational. That's not how you want to start off. Dive Esports, they've had a killer run so far. They had a 3-0 sweep. They might just have it again. They need to keep up that same level of performance. Turb over to Engine. Won't be able to find him as of yet, but will now. Pass over to Juju. Sends the ball flying high for Turb, but the touch, the connection is not there. And now they have to rotate out, try to keep up the aggression. But Genji is going to try and get out of this blue half, and it will be out for the time being.
Out for the time being, but now here comes Dive. They want to pick up their first goal of this game. They want to start strong in game number 3 and really just put an exclamation point on this series. I mean, it's been dominant from them so far, but what can they do to improve that in game 3? Turb looking to try and set up a teammate. Ran out of boost and is going to have to rotate back. Lovely defense so far by FireGoldSharks, but you have to think they've got to work about getting this cleared away from their half, because if they sit in defense all game, it just feels like a matter of time.
Yeah, a matter of time before one of these teams scores, and ultimately, I believe it's going to be Dive with the way that they're playing, because FGS, they're not able to do much at the minute apart from play defense. That's all that they've been forced to do. Yes, they're having a couple of opportunities, but they're not resulting too much. But maybe I might be able to eat my words, as they might have their first chance. No, instead, they're going to have to be forced to rush back into their half of the field, play defense once more. As Dive Esports, they take another shot. But again, it's a counter-attack. Let's go. Can they do something this time around? This time it gets narrowly closer to that orange net. It won't find its way in. Instead, will find its way in the hands of Dive Esports, and they know how to convert. It just won't be this time.
No, they've struggled so far this game with putting those shots away, and I think a lot of that is a sort of, you've got to tip the cap to this FireGoldSharks roster for the impeccable defensive performance they've put up so far, but that's not going to last. You have to think about it. With some of the aggression and shots that we've seen coming through from this Dive Esports team, you can't sort of wait for them to sort of make the moves. You can't play reactive Rocket League. You've got to be the one making the moves, so you've got to be the one step ahead, and you've seen them get to that point in the last sort of game number 2, as they tested on defense again, but now they've got to do it once more. Now that's an infield, perfect positioning there from CC. Gonna get that one hammered home, and the first goal gonna go to Dive.
Oh, I mean, it was only about time, right? There's 2 minutes still left on the clock. It's not entirely impossible for FireGoldSharks to come back, but the way that Dive have been playing, they've been quite literally diving into every opportunity they get. And finally, one has paid off, but they can't let this ball fall into the hands of FGS just at all, really. They need to just keep on top of this ball and get yourself a more comfortable lead. You are only one goal up. You can't play too comfortably. You can't leave one teammate back. Everyone needs to be playing their A game, and it looks like that's what they're doing in defense. Really, FireGoldSharks are having their first kind of opportunity, but not for much longer as the demos are coming out over to Torb. FGS, they look to get a little bit more aggressive this game, find there first, and that's exactly what they're gonna do with the pass from Genji over to Cyfluke, and now we have an equal game. Now FGS, they have shown that they're able to fight off the Dive Esports team. Are they able to take the lead, and are they able to take their own game in the series?
But just over a minute, and then a potential overtime stands in the way of that from happening. Could come down to one goal, could be multiple. You never know with the aggression we've seen, but sidewall double coming through to try and throw a bit of a spanner in the works here for the defense of FireGoldSharks. They've, like you say, proven that they can get these goals, but now it's doing it when you need to. The most brilliant defending there once again coming through. But now, gotta get this knocked down field. Lovely opportunity created. Cyfluke just trying to get that one put away, but wonderful defense from Dive to keep that away. On the other side of things, it's just going to be Dive who take full advantage of the opportunity. They take that shot, they take that goal, and now on the verge of a 3-0 sweep here in round 2 of the Invitational.
Yeah, 3-0 sweep. That is what we could be seeing today from Dive Esports. We saw last game, you know, it took us all the way to 5, and now we might have a 3-0 sweep, the opposite end of the board. Juju looks to confirm that 3-0 sweep with a pass from Turb, and ultimately FGS, their hopes have been shattered. They're in the bin. They need a miracle right now if they want to take a round off Dive Esports.
Certainly not looking good. We've seen kickoff strats before in the last game, but this is where you really need them, and this is where, unfortunately, they will not fire them. A very, very safe kickoff coming through from Dive. They look to just sort of stabilize things on their sort side of things, just keep on letting this timer trickle down, but 15 seconds still remaining, and considering they don't have possession, you have to think, you have to feel that this series is just well and truly over. It was a well-fought battle from the FireGoldSharks, but at the end of the day, it's Dive Esports who dived headfirst into this series, and at the end of it are rewarded with their 3-0 series win, a sweep against the FireGoldSharks, and that's gonna bring them 2-0 up in their matches so far. On the other side of things, FireGoldSharks gonna find themselves 0-2 down.
Yeah, 0-2 down, it's not really the position you want to be in, right? Unfortunately, they fought hard, definitely. Game number 1, we kind of thought, oh, this is going to be a landslide in terms of Dive Esports, but instead they fought extremely hard and almost took rounds away, right? They almost were able to get in the swing of things, but unfortunately, they fought ever so hard, just not hard enough, and Dive Esports find themselves 2-0 up so far in a very comfortable position for Dive Esports. And well, now we're not entirely over just yet. We have, I believe, 3 more games that we're going to show on the stream, so please stick around because you've seen close games, you've seen absolute cinema games, and you're going to see even more like that after our short little break.
Welcome back, everybody, to the VisionGaming Invitational number 5. We're getting towards the halfway point of our Friday, and well, so far we've seen the good, we've seen the bad. Is it time to see the ugly? Well, we're not sure, but what we are seeing is a battle at the bottom of the barrel here in Group 1 here, Group A, and it is going to be BS+COMPETITION taking on Predators Esports, 2 teams who currently find themselves 0-2, and well, they're going to be looking to rewrite their fortunes, Lecky. So I mean, I'm excited to get into this. It's going to be hopefully an incredible incredible series where one of these teams is going to end up with a little bit more of a chance of getting into those playoffs, and one of those teams is going to be really not looking good. So it's a very crucial match we've got ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, crucial. It is going to be the turning point for one of these teams, right? Both teams, you're down 0-2, so you're going to have to eventually come back and get in the swing of things. This game is going to be your best chance to get in the swing of things. Both of you are bottom of the barrel, like you said. Both of you have to turn this around, and this is going to be your best opportunity to do so. Like you said, we have seen games that were close. We have seen games that were, 3-0 sweep. So I don't think this will be a 3-0 sweep, since both these teams are bottom of the barrel teams, but you never know, right? You never know. Both these teams, they may be at the bottom, but one might just be that little bit better than the other. So we're gonna have to see who will prevail from the bottom, who will claw their way back into the Invitational.
I mean, it's interesting because I think these teams are teams that really shouldn't be at the bottom of the barrel, especially when you look towards BS+COMPETITION. I mean, the team who has some absolutely outstanding players on this team, so it feels like this is sort of a position where they shouldn't be. So I wonder if before we kick off our game, we can just sort of take a look at the group standings actually, and just get an idea of where everyone is sort of placed currently as we stand at our halfway point. Get those group standings up on the screen and just see where everyone is. Obviously, we've seen some of these teams live on the stream. We saw Dive in our last match. Currently, they sit 2-0 in group number 1. And, well, while we have sort of been covering a bit of group 1, group 2's also been playing at the same time. And mYinsanity's sort of quietly been sort of assassinating all of their opponents, just taking them down, sort of being like a ghost in the night. And the same can be said here for Myth. They've sort of been dispatching people off screen as well. So we've got some high flyers, we've got some teams who are doing okay, we've got some teams who need to start performing soon, and well, all those questions going to be answered here in round 3. But I believe, Lecky, we are pretty good to go in terms of everything else. So I think we're just ready to kick things off.
Yeah, all the players, they're on the field. They're ready to go. They want to get into this as soon as possible, and they want to turn it around. They want to finally take a series into their hands, and they want to keep their hopes alive. They want to claw out of the bottom of that bracket. They want to qualify. They need top 4, and this is your time to shine. Get out of the bottom, and you are ready to go as we head into game number 1.
Game number 1 getting itself underway here, and like we mentioned, both of these teams currently 0-2. Such a crucial series in terms of people's teams' playoff chances. And remember, you got to be top 4 at the end of the sort of group stage to get yourself a playoffs position. So both of these teams who currently sit, I guess, tied 4th in a 3-way tie with another team as well, are certainly going to be needing to win out on this series to put them in a good spot. And I mean, it really does just feel like a series that teams need to take advantage of, right? You're playing a team who currently is at the bottom of your group. Take advantage of that, really start to have a performance, and already we're starting to see the pressure be dialed up on the side of BS+, but nothing to show for it yet on the scoreboard. How long is it going to be until that changes for either one of these teams?
It could be pretty soon. Predator, they're looking to put on a bit of their own attack, but as soon as they try to, it's not going to happen. Burren, he's been sent back to pick up boost and play defense, essentially. Give them the chance for a counter-attack against BS+, who they've started very strong. Slumpy looking for the pass over to Serac, will not find her, and instead might find Alanis in that corner. Beautifully placed, but Burhan is going to play master defense and keep it out for the time being. Both these teams, they're just kind of feeling each other out, right? They need to go for things that they think will work, and then they'll realize, oh, this isn't going to work against this team, against this player. We're going to have to go for great shots, and Serac almost with a really good snipe, but will find Alanis nonetheless, and that's the first goal of game number 1 in round 3. BS+, they had a lot of aggression to kick us off, and they have converted that into their first goal.
BS+ really kick-starting things here in this best of 5. But is that going to be a continued factor? Is that going to be something we're getting used to see here? Or have this squad of Predators got something to say about it? Let's see. That ball going to be played along that side walls. Rifus here tries to get things started, but that's going to be picked up here by Alanis, who's going to try and guide this ball into a 50. Allow Sarak to take over on the play. It's going to be beat back a little bit though. So 1-0 still stands as the scoreline. We get towards the halfway point of this game, and still Predators not able to find anything. On the other side of things, BS+COMPETITION doubling up on their lead.
Finally, they're able to get another one with a pass down to Sirak from Slumpy. Predator, they're not able to do much there, and that's going to find itself in the back of their own net, and they're on the back burner in the first game. They need to find attacks of their own, but BS+Comp, they're running circles around them, as here's another opportunity. Slumpy them to Alanis, won't quite find her again, but will find the backboard, will find Sirak, but won't find the back of the orange net. Nonetheless, it will find the hands of Seno, who tries to put on the first attack for Predator Esports, but Alanis is there like a wall. She keeps it out for the time being. We'll get the 50 with Burren, won't get past him, but instead we'll have to opt to play defense. It's a double commit from BS+. It's not going to be punished as of yet. So they keep their dream alive, they keep the lead alive. There's a minute 50 on the clock. Are they able to take another one? Not just quite, but the aggression is there. The double commits are coming out from Predator Esports. The mistakes are there from both teams.
2-0 goal lead. Let's see if that can be held on to, or if this squad of Predators have really got something to say about this. They've now found themselves with an open net, and that's one that they're going to be scoring every single time. A lovely touch there, sort of tiki-taka back and forth between both Rifus and Seno, sorry, and a lovely sort of response there from Predators.
Yeah, that's the response you want to see, and now it's going to kick them off in this first game. BS+, you have the lead still, but it's not as comfortable as it once was. There is a minute 26. You need to further that lead for it to be comfortable. Round number 1, and that's exactly what they look to do as they make their way up this orange field. Alanis looks to get the 50. It won't quite work in her favour. It forces Sirak to take the ball high in the midfield. Over to Slumpy, who sends it hurling down into the orange half. Over to Sirak, who can't quite find the touch, but Alanis can. Will find a block with Rifuse, and Predator Esports, they keep their dreams alive for the time being. They tried to stop BS+ in their tracks, and they're not having a very good time at it because they're forced to play defense once more. Slumpy on the end of it once again. Sirak can't quite find the touch that she needs, and now Predator, you need to strike now, and unfortunately Alanis is in your way. She's there once again as she's able to keep that ball out, and there's 30 seconds for Predators to do something.
Yeah, Predators, they've not got a lot of time left to work with, and now Whiff coming through. The back lines are open, one fake, and a little bit of rustle and bustle being caused in the defense. It might just be enough as the demo comes through. The floodgates are open, and Rifus strikes that one home. The game's leveled, 20 seconds remaining. Is things going to be sorted in regulation or overtime? Could that be next on the cards?
Overtime could well and truly be here, but if BS Comp are going to have something to say about it, it won't be. Sirak tries to find the long shot, unfortunately will find Ryuz, who's able to keep it out. Over to Slumpy, the shot's there, but Seno is as well. He's going to say no to that ball going in the back of his net, and instead Predator, I think, will just opt to try and find this ground, connect it with the ball, but BS, they want to connect it with the back of the orange net, and they're not going to be able to do that for the time being. It looks like it'll be golden goal territory in round 3, game number 1.
Some lovely ball control there by BS+COMPETITION in that Predator side of the field, but it wasn't enough that time. Will it be now as they look to continue the pressure that they managed to find towards the end of the regulation? Is that top shelf? Yes, it is! Alanis calls game here in game number 1, and that's BS+COMPETITION starting off strong in this best of 5.
Oh, it's just a little bit of a mistake there from Broman, right? He had the right idea, he was playing in net, but he just was not in a good enough position to react to that. And Alanis able to capitalize and bring BS Plus their first round of round number 3. Both these teams, they're 0-2, and we expected it would be pretty close, and we already got like golden goal. We already got overtime. We know this is going to be even closer as we head into the next couple of rounds. Both these teams, they felt each other out now. It's time to finally, just feel the energy, feel Rocket League. You need to be converting goals where it matters. BS were able to do that. Our Predators finally going to be able to now.
There we go. That is the first game win of the day for BS Plus here. And it's a lovely way to do it. When you look at the shots coming through from that squad, I mean, 15 shots coming through from them. A lovely way to sort of start this game and open things up. You know, I think we saw this Predators team sort of tested in the defense time and time again. They were able to well and truly put up a good defensive showing. I mean, one of the players on that team had 5 saves just by himself, and there was still a couple more being chucked around and distributed for the rest of the squad. So I think Predators are going to want to play sort of a bit more of a counter-attack play style based on what we just saw. I mean, BS Plus, they've already showed that they are not going to let up with these attacks. They're going to keep on piling up the shots. Predators, they're going to look to exploit the rotations from BS Plus, and they've just got to focus on keeping those rotations in check a little bit, making sure things don't get sort of, you know, going a little bit wrong, and pretty much just stay disciplined.
Yep, they're just going to have to stay disciplined. They're going to have to play to the mistakes of BS Plus, but they've not been making that many, and now that you are a game in, the nerves should be gone. You have 1 round up against this team. You should be sitting pretty comfortable. There shouldn't be any rotation mistakes. There shouldn't be any missed shots, but it's Rocket League. We're bound to see a couple of left, right? Yeah, almost did, but, you know, it's all good. BS, they're coming out swinging once again, looking to get another one off the board. Alanis, oh, that's dirty, but it's not going to find its way in. It hits the crossbar, and what could have been a really dirty play. Alanis, you'll be kicking yourself for that one. That should have made its way in. Predator Esports, they are alive with the skin of their teeth. Not for long. What have we just witnessed, Alanis? That goal, the first one should have went in. It didn't. Predator Esports, you got it by the skin of your teeth. You were able to convert, and then there was too many nerves, and it's just all gone. Yeah, it's all gone for them.
The game's gone. The game's gone, as the saying is. And in this case, it was an own goal coming through from Predators Esports. As they both scrambled to save it, it ended up becoming their worst enemy themselves. So now we get to see, once again, a goal lead on the side of BS Plus, and this time, what are they going to do with it? Are they going to find similar fortunes to last game, where they're able to hold that on until the end of the match, or maybe this Predators Esports squad got something to say about on the offense? Dreyfus looks to run this down the line. Senio going to be jumping, but he's going to get leapt over the top. And, well, while everyone else is playing Rocket League, Alanis is playing Leapfrog. What are we watching here? BS Plus, a wonderful showing here in game number 2.
This is honestly just a BS Plus masterclass. Alanis is running circles around Predator Esports at the minute, and the rest of her team, they're helping her do it. But maybe now Predator Esports, with a miracle kickoff, they can't quite find the goal. It's going to hit the post, and what should have been an opportunity converted. It's going to stay 2-0 for the time being. There's 3 minutes left on the clock. Still, yes, there's plenty of time, but with the way BS are playing, they're not slowing down. Over to Slumpy, who's going to try and find Alanis in the midfield. She'll find her, but Alanis won't unfortunately find the goal for the time being. Instead, we'll find Serac, who sends the shot on net. Farhan is there to keep it out, and now Predator Esports, you have an opportunity, you have the chance. Alanis is going to stand like a wall in defense and shatter your dreams of getting your first goal of this game.
2-0 here so far. BS Plus, a dominant performance, and it might just continue to get a little bit worse for Predators Esports, as everything seems to be against them. They can't get this out of their half now. They finally found an opportunity, but now it's just going to be picked up by Sarak here on that back wall. guided away. Ryfer's looking to drop it down, spotted the opening, but Slumpy was poised and ready to take it away. And now, past the mid-game point, past sort of the halfway mark of this game, things don't really seem to be changing. It's new game, same story here for BS+.
Yep, new game, same story. That's exactly what we're seeing. And Alanis, we're seeing the masterclass come out once again. The shot on target, but Seno has been doing brilliant for defense on the side of Predator Esports. But that doesn't mean that it's going to stop BS. Just absolute masterclass. It's not going to stop their shots on net. But right now it will stop them for the time being, as there is an opportunity for Predator Esports to put it on target. But as soon as I say that, Sirac's on the end of it, so is Slumpy, and she's up. Not a lot of boost to work with, so Ryfuse will have a chance, but immediately it falls into the hands of Sirac, who just hits off of the post ever so slightly. It won't find its way in this time. That doesn't mean that it's not going to find its way in at all. Alanis, she's on the end of it, can't quite do much, and instead the counter attack opens up for Predator Esports, opens up for Ryfuse, but it's immediately shot down once again. Slumpy's on the end of it, can't do much with it, and now Predator Esports, you have a chance. Stop playing hot potato with it, do something, because Alanis, she's on the end of the ball, Serac is as well. It's only about time. Slumpy can't quite find the goal. It's hitting post after post for BS Comp, and they're not able to concede.
Well, now's the opportunity. Now is the shot, and you feel like if stuff like that's not going in, then hope is just lost. I mean, 30 seconds remaining. Potentially a couple more attacks left in the tank here for Predators in Game 2 before they're facing a 2-0 deficit in this series. I mean, looking at things here, Predators Esports, they've really been tested and they've not quite been able to rise to those sort of tests, those expectations. Now 10 seconds, you need something, then you need a kickoff goal, but they're not finding anything. They're being locked away and kept guessing by BS+. And well, I'm certainly going to continue that. 2-0 here in match number 2, and a reverse sweep needed by Predators to potentially save their tournament.
Yeah, they're gonna need a clean sweep if they want to keep their chances of finally getting their first series. You know, they're 0-2 down, and it's gonna be the same if you don't step it up a little bit. Every single player of Predator Esports had to play incredible defense, and yes, you did. But you also need to play offense. You need to be scoring goals. As soon as you let BS+ score, you need to be showing, you need to be returning that same aggression. You need to be returning the ball in the back of their net, and you're not doing that. You're sitting playing defense. You're sitting ducks, essentially, and BS+ have ran circles over you.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That second game was as dominant as you like it. It felt like throughout the entire of that sort of match in game number 2, there was not really anything that Predators could do to sort of find any sort of way back into that. It was just destructive. It was everything you could ask for if you are BS+. And Predators, they need to find something. They need to find anything. They need an early goal here in this game number 3. They need that momentum behind them. They need that early lead. And let's see if they're going to get it. Game number 3 getting itself underway here. We hop back down to the pitch for potentially one last time in round number 3 before we start to dial up the action a little bit more here.
Yep, Predator Esports, you have your chance, and that is now. You need to be scoring, and you need a great start to game number 3 if you're going to keep off BS+. But they're such a strong team. I don't see it happening unless Predator Esports, they've been hiding something up their sleeve. They need to keep playing to the same level as BS Comp. They've shown that they can score goals. You need to do it more consistently, as Alanis is getting chased around in net, but she's not going to let that phase her. She's still going to be the wall that we know that she can be. She's going to keep that out for the time being, and Slumpy, not a lot of boost, will have to resort to rotating back and playing that third man position as Predator Esports look to start their own attack. Damn Susino, he's not going to find anything. The ball will find itself in the hands of Slumpy once more, who will look to find Sirac in the midfield. Won't quite find her, and instead Predator Esports, a better start to this game number 3 if I do have to say so.
Yeah, better start, but still not perfect. You still need to secure those goals if you're Predator Esports, because you have to feel like if you start to give BS Plus opportunities and you don't have that goal cushion to work with, then things could start to get a little bit ugly, and pressure starts to be dialed up here a little bit as Predators now start to have chances after chance to lock things away, but Sarak was well positioned front post there and was able to just sort of swipe that attempt aside. And I mean, Predators, they're getting these shots, but none of them are threatening enough. None of them are sort of testing this BS Plus defense, and they're just getting free save after free save, clear after clear, shot after shot, goal after goal, and potentially win after win as they look to move on 3-0. But will they be able to?
Yeah, but it looks like that they might be able to pick up that clean sweep for the time being. But Predator Esports, there's time on the clock. Time is still kicking. 3 minutes. It's an awful lot of time for you to get one goal. But BS, that doesn't mean that they're going to slow down. They want more. They're hungry for it. Are they going to be able to? No! They are going to have an equal game. And Predator Esports, they want this win just as bad as BS do. They're going to fight for it. Ryfuse with the perfect response to that first goal.
Yeah, Slumpy not quite successful on that 50. Rifles just forcing themselves past and allowing Predators Esports to pick up their first goal here in not just one game but 2 games. And now we're going to get to see who's going to fire next, who's going to find their mark and really step up here in this game. Crucial one for both sides. But now that's an opening. And that is going to be Burhan putting that away for Predators as they take the lead for the first time in this series.
They're taking the lead and they're showing that they don't want to slow down. They want this just as much as BS do. Are they able to keep the lead, or will they fall to the brutal attacks we've seen from the likes of Alanis, who looks a bit that on net? Instead, Burhan will be there, but so will Sarak. Ryfuse with the save, and he's now finally able to turn this into a counter-attack for Predator as Burhan, he's chasing the ball closely behind, not able to do much with it. We'll find Slumpy and we'll find Ryfuse. Can BS, can they take advantage of the low boost? We're gonna have to see, because they're in the orange half. They're showing so much aggression. You've kind of got to think it's only time before one of their attacks eventually prevail and eventually will find its way back into the net of Predator Esports, but it doesn't look like that's the case for the time being. They're sending shot after shot. Nothing's working, but that ball's been sent high over to Sarak, who looks to put it in the net. Will go and be collected swiftly by Ryfuse as Slumpy will get that demo. It's not going to be enough maybe, but it will keep the ball up for the time being.
Minute 30 still to work with here. BS Plus, still chances to be found, but they need to get out of this defensive side of things, because Predators Esports starting to cook up the pressure a little bit, like they have for the past couple of minutes, I guess, and they've started to put a lot more shots on the board. I mean, in the first couple of games we weren't looking at many shots from them, but now we're starting to get towards double digits here. And BS Plus, they need a response. We're not going to be able to find it, but the demo on the way out certainly going to help open up a little bit more space for Sarak to come in and tie things up, and BS Plus are right back in the action.
Yeah, Joe, that took a lot of teamwork from Alanis. They're able to get the demos off. That allowed Sarak to get the goal she needed to equalize this game. There's a minute left, Hodge, and this minute could go either way. Predator Esports, they seem to have turned up the dial. They seem to be playing exactly how they need to. They just need to do a little bit more, push that little bit harder to keep your hope alive if you want to take a round off of this team. But 50 seconds, it could go either way. Alana's not able to do much. We'll have to opt for Slumpy to take the 50. And Ryfuse is going to opt to pass that over to Burhan, his teammate, who'll send it back into the hands of himself. But Alanis will meet him there. Over to Seno. Great 50 from him. Allows Predator Esports to be a shot at net. Instead, no, Burhan has to hit it off of the sides wall. And Ryfuse will be taken out in the process. But Predator Esports, they've turned up the dial. They still have the aggression. BS Comp, they're forced to play defense.
Forced into defense, but will they be able to switch that into offense? The final dying second. Slumpy infield trying to get that pass across, but been taken away. And now, with a bit of a shift in possession, will we see a 0-second goal or will we see overtime? Looks like that's going to be the case. Overtime, either the series ends now or Game 4's only just calling, only just getting this series started. Sarak just trying to pass that infield to Alanis, but that's down the other side. That's open. That's Sano for the Predators. And that's game number 4. A lifeline fought. Opportunity opened up here. And now this series is going to continue one game further.
Just an unfortunate mistake to make if you are BS. Plus you got overconfident, the over rotation, you allowed Predator Esports, you practically invited them in, you said, hey, our goal is free, go score, get yourself back in the swing of things. We don't want to take the 3-0 sweep with that over rotation, and it's unfortunate that overtime went to such, you know, a common mistake like over rotating. But hey, it means that we have a longer game. We don't have another 3-0 sweep. We could maybe see the comeback for Predator Esports, but they need to turn things up. They need to keep playing at the level that we just saw them play.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to continue to ramp up the pressure from 10 to 11 and keep that dial maxed out at the top. But game number 4 getting itself underway, and we'll see if BS+ can close it out now, or are we going the distance?
We might be going the distance. Here is game number 4, and BS, they're looking to close it out. They couldn't close it out the first time, but can they close it out the second time as we head into this game?
Yeah, already good start here for the side of I mean, neither team, because at the moment I believe the stream is still watching us, so it's fine.
Hey!
I'm like calling out the producer live on stream. I do apologise, Kasalin. You are wonderful. I know things are quite stressful today. But yes, good start here for BS+, and we'll see if they're going to be able to put any of this pressure into goals. Sarak getting herself started on the offense, just taking it into her own hands, getting that first goal, and absolutely dunking on the Predators.
Yep, well, that dunk is going to secure BS Comp the first goal of game number 4. They weren't able to close out last game, but they're hoping to do that now. They don't want to take Predator Esports all the way. They want to close it out as quickly as possible, and thanks to Sarak they might be able to do that, but they need to keep that same level of Rocket League performance up, as Alanis will find the ball and find the 100 boost, but can't find much to do with it. Instead, Sarak, with a save of her life, will have to just jump for that ball and up to now turn it into a counter. Alanis tries to get to it, but Ryfuse is going to be able to stop her in his tracks, and there's demos coming out from Alanis. She's going to say no to Sano being on that field. She wants him gone, and she wants this opportunity for BS Comp to secure the win.
Crucial demos coming through there from Alanis to stop the pressure after a little bit of a miscommunication and a double commit from BS+. Really a saviour for her team, and I mean, it's just sort of putting to a stop any sort of pressure that Predators might start to cook up a little bit when they get the opportunities. We saw what they did with the opportunities in that last game when they were sort of given an open road to sort of just run free with. But now things are starting to look a little bit more collected from both teams. BS+, they're going to be looking to try and fire on the opportunities they have, and once again it's those demos opening up the field. Alanis, perfect positioning, and then a great spot to take that second goal here for BS+.
Get to that, and that's going to allow BS+ their second goal of this game. There's still 3 minutes left. There's still an awful lot of time for Predator Esports to get back into the swing of things, but not when Slumpy's on the end of it, looking to make a pass out into the midfield. But it's alright, it's gone for the time being. It's turned into a counter attack not for much longer. Raifu is forced to play defense, forced to steal the boost, and forced to tactically make that save. But could this be an over-rotation? No, Slumpy, she is there. She's there like a wall. We'll get that out of the blue half of the field. And we'll now have a little bit of an attack for BS Comp, unless Sino has something to say about it. But he can't, as he is gone. He's off the field. And now the ball is in the hands of Alanis. Takes the ball very slowly. It might just be over all three. A shot of a lifetime, a solo play of just pure masterclass, pure Rocket League. She knew that she had to take it over three. She didn't opt for any silly business. It opts for pure beauty as that goal sinks its way into the back of the orange net and sinks BS Comp further in the lead of this game.
Apparently we're watching the BS Plus Olympics now. I mean, we saw leapfrog earlier on. Now we're seeing the high jump, hell, even the triple jump maybe. And we're getting over all three of these players. I'm not quite sure, but it's entertaining nonetheless. 3-0 lead now secured for BS Plus, and is that going to be enough to secure them this game number 4? Or if Predator Esports got something to say about it? Let's find out, but so far they've been denied on all their attacks, on all their opportunities that they've been able to sort of put up. It's been sort of reminiscent of their game 1 performance where they were forced into defense time and time again, locked out of that sort of midfield halfway line, and that's just continuing here.
Yup, Predator Esports are not able to do much. They've been having to play defense after defense, and their offense isn't turning into much. They've had a couple of opportunities, sure, but they need to be capitalizing. They need the shot placement, and they need just absolute perfectness. They need to be playing how they should be, and BS Comp, they're running circles all over them. Serac not quite able to find the double touch there, but it doesn't mean that the ball won't stay out of the orange half the time being. Nope, instead, Castle cursed that. Predator Esports, they're back. They want to put their first on the board. Seno, he might have something to say about it, but not for long. Serac on the end of it, opts to try go for a flick, won't get over any of the orange players, but instead, she'll have to find herself on the other half of the field.
45 seconds left here, 3-0. And so far, I mean, when you look at BS Plus, this looks secure. This looks like it could be over. But is it? I mean, you have to think definitely, but you've seen crazy things happen before. Raifus trying to get that over to a teammate. Allow his team to create some sort of pressure here. Predators Esports, have they run out of options? Is this just going to be over for them? Alanis just trying to get this one cleared, get it sent away to give BS Plus some life in this tournament, some opportunities. One will go in at the end, but realistically, this is over unless we see 2 kickoff goals from Predator Esports. This series is done and dusted.
You need a miracle right now if you're Predator Esports. Yes, you can take your Constellation goal, but there's 5 seconds left on the clock. That goal might be a little bit too late. You need a great kickoff. That's not going to be what you want to see. Serac is up. She can't get to the end of it. But what we can get to is the end of this series as BS Comp. They take it 3-1. Not quite the sweep that we thought they could have, but nonetheless, they emerge victorious, and what an incredible display that they have put up for us in this game.
Incredible to see. What a display of action, like we say. Incredible series. Love that we're now starting to see some of the teams who previously, before this series, winless, now starting to pick up some of these wins in the likes of BS Plus. So a lovely way for them to start putting points on the board, start to sort of ramp up their tournament, and you know, while others' tournaments may soon come to an end by the end of today, theirs could certainly be flying high. But they've still got more series to go with that. But you know, until we find out what's going to happen at the end of the day, we obviously do have something to address. We have unfortunately had a team unfortunately have to forfeit their spot, that being Ross T Esports, unfortunately having to forfeit their spot in the tournament. So that will now be a 5-team bracket in Group B. So good news for the rest of the 4 teams. They've now got a bit of a better chance of making it out. and one team will now be eliminated from that group. On the other side of things for Group A, still the same, still 6 teams, still 4 teams moving on at the end of the day. And yeah, we will have a look at our standings while the break is going on. So that's it from us for the time being, but we will be back after a short break with round 4 and 5. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned, we'll be back soon. Welcome back everybody to the penultimate round here of our Friday action, to the VisionGaming Invitational 5, and well, I mean, Hodge once again joined alongside by Liquipedia, and it's been an incredible day of action. We've seen 3 1s, we've seen 3 0s, we've seen 3 2s. We've managed to tick off all the bingo cards pretty much so far. I mean, we're getting there, and we've got 2 series left, so you know, we're doing pretty well in terms of being able to see everything. But now we get a chance to see mYinsanity taking on ZURA Esports. Both of these teams, such good teams, and we'll get started in a second. But I'm very excited, like I expect, for this matchup. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, we're not going to get taken into another 3-0, 3-1. We want to see it go all the way, right? And I think that might be what we have on our hands. Of course, this is, I believe, it's Group B. So like you mentioned before the break, one team has had to unfortunately forfeit. So you only have to make top 4 by 1. There's no longer 2 teams that will be eliminated. Everyone's ready on the field. Everyone's revving to go. And I don't think they want to be waiting much longer. I think we're just going to head straight into it.
Yeah, heading straight into it. Both of these teams joining the pitch. mYinsanity, ZURA Esports. Let's see who is going to have this first opening start to this game and really sort of put their best foot forward here in this matchup. I mean, ZURA Esports, you'd have to say they're coming in as the underdog here when you're playing up against mYinsanity, who, I mean, you know, a team who has a lot of history in the Swiss League. I mean, a team who dominated the sort of Awaken League earlier on, but so far, ZURA Esports are striking first here, and mYinsanity have been put on the back foot.
Yup, you know, you were just talking about how great this mYinsanity team is and how ZURA Esports, they're going to have their work cut out for them, and immediately it's cast our curse, right? So I think we can rig the results of this game if we keep talking like that, because Rhino's put one on net again, and ZURA Esports, they take 2 off of mYinsanity, which is not what we were expecting heading into this game, but we're certainly here for it.
Certainly a fiery way to start this game, and I mean, this ZURA Esports sort of organization, it's the reason I haven't sort of rated them as highly as mYinsanity is because I've, you know, seen firsthand the damage mYinsanity can do, whereas ZURA Esports, I mean, this org is relatively new. I mean, it's sort of, I've not been witness to the performance that they're putting up right now, but this is certainly devastating and a great start to this series. I mean, this roster is a roster who they've got a pretty good roster that's battled in a couple of high-level German leagues, and they are a force to be reckoned with. But you know, in terms of being in the Swiss scene, this is sort of their first entry into the Swiss scene. So these guys against mYinsanity, who are well established in the Swiss scene, haven't really matched up very often, even if at all, and right now we're seeing a Rule 1 off to the side of the screen, so we're going to get to see some 2v2 action.
Yep, a little bit of 2v2 in this 3v3 game, not for much longer though, as mYinsanity finally look to get out of their half, put an attack of their own, but it's not going to last for long because Konshu was on the end of it, looks to pick up the 100 boost and rotate back. Perfect for him there, he's making the right decision. He knows he can't stay on that play, and instead now he is able to make his touch. It's not going to be quite the touch that he wants, mind you, but it will allow Rhino an opportunity to pass them to him in the midfield, as there's a little Rule 1 in the corner.
Almost seems like they're just like trying to get this Rule 1 happening. I wonder if because of the demo they decided to go back and, you know, do it again. Not quite sure, but maybe they just really want to play 2v2 regardless. It might work out here for mYinsanity, but no, it's taken away And ZURA Esports hold on. Now they're looking to go cross court, looking to go other side. And I mean, this rule 1 is held on, not breaking. But what is breaking, and has certainly broken apart so far this game, is the mYinsanity defense.
mYinsanity, they're playing great defense. It's just not good enough for ZURA Esports. They're able to slot another one into the back of that blue net, and ultimately we thought mYinsanity, they were going to be the better team heading into this game, and ZURA Esports, they've run circles around us and mYinsanity. 4 goals up with 2 minutes 50 left. It's a really good, comfortable position for them. There's demo after demo, but the ball is hurling in front of that blue net. Prime is up, not able to make the shot work, unfortunately. But Rhino, he's there, the man who was able to score so many so far. He can't find it once more, but can he find it now? Yes, he can. It's under the crossbar. And ZURA Esports 5-0 in this game 1.
Pretty unexpected, you know, when I was looking at sort of how this was gonna go. I remember getting a sort of tier list sent through by production as to how these teams might sort of stack up against each other, and let's just say mYinsanity was sort of very much near the top. They were 2nd seed, and they are going to get a goal here. They were 2nd seed. When you look at ZURA Esports, they weren't rated badly. They were rated 6th, but I mean, when we saw the destructive performance that mYinsanity has previously been able to have in other Swiss tournaments, it was sort of unparalleled, it was unchallenged. But now, ZURA Esports are putting up a brilliant fight here so far.
Yup, putting up a brilliant fight indeed, but are mYinsanity going to be able to put up a great fight of their own? We're going to have to see. There's 2 minutes still left on the clock. It is only 4 goals they need. Make it 3 as Keeper is able to slot it into the orange net and bring mYinsanity ever so slightly closer to ZURA Esports. Yes, they're 3 goals down, but there's still loads of time left on the clock. And what we thought was a game that was in the hands of ZURA Esports just so firmly, it's slipping away a little bit.
The most mYinsanity thing ever to come back from this, but it looks like the bleeding might just continue. A wonderful outplay to set up the sort of playing field here, I guess you can say, for this squad of ZURA. But I mean, hammered home there by Reno. A lovely sequence of events for this ZURA roster, and mYinsanity going to be put on the back foot one more time.
Oh, they're back on the back burner, and unfortunately, what looked like a promising kind of chance for them to get back in the swing of things is going to be taken away from them, and ZURA Esports 2-6 in this high-octane game that we have seen. It's honestly just been an absolute masterclass for our round number 1 in this game. But, I mean, ZURA Esports, they're doing incredible. That's an incredible save from them as well. Look, mYinsanity almost able to work that one in the back of their net. But ZURA Esports, they've come out swinging. They don't seem to be slowing down as Rhinos. He's in the corner looking for the pass to Conchu. Won't quite find him, and will find Milux with the save.
Oh, just over a minute still left to go here. mYinsanity still got some work to do. It's still very much possible, but you have to feel they need something soon. That's going to drop down, but it's a wonderful pass. And I mean, this ZURA Esports team, they're so sort of in form. They're so sort of... I describe them as a very teamy team here. They know how to sort of transition the play between everyone. They know how to rotate properly. The passing plays are really in form. They look good. They look really good. And mYinsanity hasn't been able to stack up to them in this first game, but now they get another goal back on the board, and still, it always feels like mYinsanity in this game, they've always been trailing, but it's still always been, you know, possible for them to come back.
Yeah, definitely. Even though it's been a very high-scoring game, and it kind of has looked out of mYinsanity's hands at some point, they've somehow been able to bring it back. Yes, there's still 3 goals down. Yes, there's a little bit of time left, and ultimately you'd be saying this is over, right? But with the way that mYinsanity have been playing, they've been bringing it back. It's just looking a little bit too unlikely as the clock checks further away. 20 seconds left on the clock. They need goals now. Maybe an opportunity. The pass over to T. Jester is going to slot its way in. And what a beauty from Melux that keeps mYinSanity's hope alive. Yes, they still have 2 goals to score, but a kickoff is all you really need.
Possible. It's definitely possible. Kickoff strat's going to have to be pulled out of the bag here, and TJ goes for the close cheat. Unfortunately for mYinsanity, they didn't have a player who turned up field as well, so they're going to lose that kickoff. Put all their cards into one basket, all their eggs into one basket, and 2 seconds still left to work with. mYinsanity provided themselves with an opportunity, provided themselves with a chance, but surely, Liquipedia, surely it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, they need a killer kickoff. There's 2 seconds left. Can they get it? The ball is flag high. Conchu wants to head it into the ground. He will. And what we thought could have been a overtime in round number 1, it's going to be a 6-5 in the favor of ZURA Esports, who narrowly, despite having a really great start, they narrowly take game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, you say narrowly because ZURA Esports, it felt like they should have had quite a tight grip on that game, but mYinsanity did a great job to sort of claw things back and really catch up from the deficit they were put under. Now, I mean, we start to turn our attention to game number 2. Will mYinsanity have a bit more of a hot start to game 2 than they did game 1? Because if they do, you have to feel like this could certainly get out of control for ZURA. ZURA, they need to strike early, they need to strike first, and they need to get that same pressure going that they did in game 1.
Yup, get the pressure going, keep it up. They had a lot of it and then they let it slip. mYinsanity almost ran away with it, but they didn't. So ZURA Esports, you narrowly just won that. Like we said, you need to be doing an awful lot more if you want to keep this number 2 seed at bay. Round number 2 in this series, and mYinsanity, they're kicking us off with an air dribble bump. It's unfortunately going to be saved by Rhino, but what a start that would have been.
The start it would have been, and now we're going to sort of just look at this midfield and see who is going to get control over the possession. I mean, we started to see mYinsanity snatch a lead back in that sort of last game towards the second half, but I think, you know, if you're ZURA, if you just hold on to the possession, if you control the possession and don't give them those openings, don't give them those opportunities, it's becoming a bit increasingly difficult to sort of claw your way back. But you've also got to get that goal cushion sort of in your way first. You've got to get that in your favour. That's what they've got to look towards first. Getting that opening start. Unfortunately for them, it's not going very positively, but they are able to hold on as that shot ricochets off of the post there by Kiva. And will do so once again. mYinsanity, they've got a lot of pressure, but it's off of the post, off of the crossbar, and anywhere but the back of the net.
Yep, the ball's not found its way in either net, but mYinsanity, they look like they're in the swing of things now as Melox tries to put it onto the backboard. Instead, we'll find Rhino, who's able to keep it alive for the time being. Over to Conchu, gets the block in the midfield. It allows Prime to push further up. Not a lot of push to work with. He'll have to find a teammate in orange, and he will. Rhino, the first goal of round number 2 in this game. ZURA Esports, they're once again in the lead of things.
ZURA Esports looking to pull what a lot of people would have considered as quite a bit of an upset here in the VisionGaming Invitational. I mean, it's not done yet, it's far from over, but it's a good start for them. The first game's been secured, the first goal of game 2's been secured, and this best of 5 starting to get a little bit out of control for mYinsanity. But will they be able to stop the bleeding before it gets fatal? Will they be able to start cooking something here right now? They've been put in a difficult position, and oh my word, TJ's doing so incredibly well to get that cleared away, shepherded out. And I mean, the pressure that's being put on mYinsanity is like no other, but they're dealing with it so incredibly well. But they've got to get this out, they've got to get this down the other end, and they've got to start looking for goals.
They've got to start looking for goals, but ZURA Esports, they're going to find their second as Conchu will get the pass from Rhino, and it's just a bit of a mistake there. Yes, it hit off the post, but I know that's hard to read. You should have someone in that net. You should have someone able to react to that, and you just didn't. In ZURA Esports, they have capitalized on that poor positioning that came up from mYinsanity. But maybe an opportunity, as there is a double demo at the start of the kickoff. Nothing will come from it for either team, and instead Rhino will have the chance for a counter attack over to Prime. Not a lot of boost to work with, but Kiva is going to find Khonshu, who sends it flying high into the hands of Milox, and down to T Jester. It's only about time till mYinsanity finds one of their own, but there's demos galore on the field at the minute. It's going to be insanely hard for them to find anything when there's a player down.
I like the sort of game strategies here by ZURA because, you know, while it's nice to just take shots at goals and score them, they recognize that when you're going up against a team like mYinsanity, that's not often going to work. A lot of the time you have to wear down their resources, and that's what they're doing. They're sort of grabbing possession and then putting a vice grip on mYinsanity, sort of passing it back and forth from corner to corner, stealing boosts, draining away their resources, and it's worked out so far for them. But now, mYinsanity, they're going to look for a response. They're going to look to give this ZURA Esports squad a bit of a taste of their own medicine. Demo comes through, TJ gets it bottom left, and that goal lead's been cut in half. mYinsanity on the score sheet.
Yep, it's only that time since they were finally on the score sheet, like you said, and they are a 1-goal deficit stands between ZURA Esports and mYinsanity. ZURA, like they did last game, it was a very common theme. They had a great start, then they let it slip in the middle to end game. Are they gonna, repeat the same mistakes? It's looking likely as mYinsanity, they find their footing, but they've still got an awful long way to step if they want to step into the lead of things, as Prime might have a chance at an open goal. Instead, Milux is on the end of that. Khonshu with the bump, not able to secure that goal, as the ball will find its way into the hands of Milux, but it's quickly returned to the orange team of ZURA Esports, who look to get another one to further their position in the lead, to make them even more comfortable, as it's over to Khonshu. Not a lot of boost in the tank, but there is still a lot of pressure.
30 seconds left here. mYinsanity, there's openings, there's opportunities, but you've got to start creating them, because ZURA Esports, we've seen how good they are at locking you in your own half, draining away those resources. Pass infield, shot opportunity, but TJ not able to get there fast enough, and it's just cleared away just like that by ZURA. Prime also getting that one passed a little bit further downfield. TJ has an opportunity, Milox infield, it's passing the parcel, and at the end of the day, mYinsanity not finding any rewards. Kiva, can he find it at the dying second? No, TJ gonna look for the double down from above, and in the end, mYinsanity, shot after shot, not able to put it away. ZURA Esports, the ball hits the ground, and they go 2-0 up against the #1 team in their group so far.
I mean, what an absolute performance from both teams. Again, it's a common theme, right? mYinsanity, they don't start off great, but ZURA Esports, they come in swinging. They look like they're incredibly dominant, and they're going to take it to even double digits with sometimes how they play. And then mid-game to late game, it just kind of all fades away, and mYinsanity, they take advantage of that, but just not quick enough. Yes, they did have one goal on the board, and it was only a 1-goal deficit, but even with like almost the late game goal that we saw there at 0 seconds, if there was even 15 more seconds on the board, that aggression and the possession that they had could have and probably would have resulted in a goal and resulted in overtime. So they need to be capitalizing a bit quicker if they want to take a game away from ZURA Esports. But now we head into game number 3, and ZURA, they just need to take this one to take us to a 3-0 sweep.
3-0 sweep, is that going to be the case, or have this mYinsanity roster got something left in the locker for us in game at number 3? Kiva passed down to TJ. That's going to be put to a stop here. Reno is going to be sort of rotating out, trying to recollect himself and not get bumped off the play. On the other side of things, mYinsanity are playing this beginning of the game incredibly well, and the passes are connecting. Milox down to Kiva. The duo of mYinsanity hitting the mark one more time, and it's getting them the lead in the early game here.
Yup, they have the lead, and that's exactly how they want to be kicking off this game. If they want to take one away from ZURA eSport, they need to keep up that same level of play. And Jester, he looks like he wants to continue it. Unfortunately, it will not result in a goal for the time being, but there is still so much possession. mYinsanity is slightly too far up the field. He's not going to be able to capitalize on that mistake from Rhino, but Honshu able to pass them to Rhino, maybe not. Instead, Jester, he's on the ball, so is Keeper. mYinsanity is off the field, and there's ultimately not a lot that mYinsanity can do when you're playing a 2 versus 3 against a team like ZURA eSport, except from wait for the mistakes. The double commit comes out from ZURA, the pass over to Jester. It's not going to result in a shot. It's going to be left for Keeper, who hits it off the post. Jester can't do anything with that, and what should have been a goal for mYinsanity to further their lead, it's resulted in nothing.
A couple of times this series, mYinsanity have the pressure but not able to sink the shots when they need to. Kiva trying to pre-jump it, but Prime, an excellent job to play that slow. Make sure that the pre-jumping player just deletes their use on the pitch, and well, TJ making himself incredibly useful on the pitch. When you look at that, mYinsanity looked like he was going to go for that, fake the shot and let the beast out. TJ, what a lovely reception on the end of that play. Was there right time, right place, and ready to hit the mark.
Yup, ready to hit the mark is definitely the way to put it. And mYinsanity, they're ready to take their first game in this series, but ZURA eSports, we know they can bounce back, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. Rhino with a shot will be saved by Keeper, and Prime just unfortunately won't get on the right end of that ball, but instead will be able to make the pass them to Konshu, who's met by mYinsanity. The ball sent flying high in the midfield, flying over to the blue half, won't find the net, but will find Jester, who will be able to send it over into the midfield and up into the orange half as of now. But Konshu passes over to Rhino, can't quite find him, and Keeper with a shot, a beautiful shot, will slot it underneath the crossbar and will further the lead for mYinsanity.
Kiva, the cannon there, top shelf, and I mean, that is placement perfection from mYinsanity. 3 goals to 0. ZURA eSports not able to replicate the performances that they previously had in these first 2 games. Now an opportunity though, or was that just a fake coming through? Not too sure, but mYinsanity able to deal with it incredibly well and recollect themselves as they're looking to walk away with this game number 3 and continue this series. They don't want things over. They want to establish themselves as the #1 team in their group, get that more positive seeding for when it comes to those playoffs. Remember, first team going to play against the 4th team in the other group when it does come to those playoffs. So you want to get the best seeding you possibly can, get that ideal quarterfinal matchup. TJ bumped off the play, opportunity there for mYinsanity to add more goals to the tally, but I think they're quite happy with the lead that they have.
I mean, I would be happy as well, yeah, but you know what? I don't mind a consolation goal. I don't mind furthering the lead, and we're 2 minutes, left in the game. There's still time, like I've been saying time and time again tonight, but it's a really hard battle to get those 4 goals, especially with mYinsanity. They have found their footing. They've found their mojo. They don't want a 3-0 sweep. They want to have the comeback story that everyone wants to see. We thought they were going to be overrated going into this, and then ZURA eSports, they proved us wrong, and now we're seeing the mYinsanity that we expected to see. They're putting up a stellar performance on field, and they're going for even more consolation goals. Keeper over Prime, damn to Jester, maybe no. Keeper will secure that one for himself. A hat trick for him this game, the star of this match. He's able to find himself another, and ZURA eSports might as well pack their bags this game and head into the next.
This is starting to get, out of control. It already had, but seems like mYinsanity have cracked the code of ZURA eSports, and they're just going to keep adding to the tally. At least in game number 1, mYinsanity had a couple of goals to work with when ZURA eSports was sort of murdering them. But when things have sort of been flipped the other way around, it seems ZURA eSports can't get out of this 6-foot deep grave that mYinsanity seem to just continue digging.
Of the grave that is just continue being digging, like you said. It's honestly brutal at the minute. mYinsanity, they're just, they're playing brilliant Rocket League. They're playing how we expecting them to play, and essentially now, ZURA Esports, this game is done and dusted. There's almost a minute remaining, and you essentially need a goal every 10 seconds. It's not entirely impossible when you're putting up shots eventually, but it's very unlikely, as they're not finding anything from these shots. Khonshu looks to take the goal into his own hands, won't find anything there, and it's essentially over for ZURA Esports.
Essentially is. I mean, the question now is how many goals can mYinsanity rack up? I mean, ZURA Esports, it's out of the question, it really is, but mYlox is just going to make it 7. And this, I mean, this hellhole that ZURA Esports find themselves in just continues to get darker and darker, worse and worse, and I keep forgetting that I've got the producer yelling at me to skip replays, and I keep forgetting to press the button. But we're going to get another opportunity to redeem ourselves, Lecky. Here we go. You ready? I've got my finger on the button. Ready to go.
Yup, yay!
Come on, mYlox. There we go.
There we go.
mYlox is selling. But yeah, we do get ourselves hopefully a seconds more closer to game number 4, because this is certainly over, and the reverse sweep might just be in session.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it is. It will be an interesting story to tell. We're in Brazil at the moment. We've packed our bags, and well, it's sunny over here, especially for the side of mYinsanity when you have 6 goals up. Maybe even make it 7. No, you can't as of yet. But we're in Brazil for the first time tonight. It's nice to be here. It's definitely sunny for mYinsanity, like I've said. And as we head into game number, what are we on now? Game number 4. ZURA Esports, we're gonna have to do something. But yeah, mYinsanity, that is disgusting.
I mean, TJ is just styling on them. What a shot! I'm not skipping that one. I don't care how much I'm getting messages or people yelling at my ear to skip that one. That was a shot. That was mYinsanity dominance. And I have to say, you say it would create an interesting storyline if we got a reverse sweep here. The storyline would be me rocking up to tomorrow's cast with bags under my eyes and not being able to stay awake because we've been up till 1 AM casting best of 5s today. So that would be the storyline. So I'm not sure if I'm quite hoping we get the interesting gameplay or if we get it over with so we can sleep and prepare for tomorrow. I'm not sure. There's positives either way, and we will see how mYinsanity write the rest of our day, because realistically, the hands, the hands of the rest of our day, it's all in mYinsanity's hands. They control our mood, they control our producer Casalian's mood, and they certainly could rewrite some interesting storylines.
Yeah, they can make us sleep deprived, and maybe Joe, that's exactly what we might see. They're coming out swinging in this game. They don't want to go out just yet. They want to go out with a bang, if anything. ZURA Esports now, it's a chance for you to finally close this out and send us into our last game of the night. But we want to see Rocket League. Yes, we'll be sleep deprived. We want to see some good goals. And mYinsanity, they're kicking us off with one of their own. Keeper, nice pass from Jester, is able to slot that in, and it looks like we're going to be staying up all night.
Yeah, it looks like we're starting to get towards, so this is really happening territory. I wonder if mYinsanity had just sort of gone, yeah, ZURA Esports, have those first 2 games, it's fine, take it, and then we'll regain our Awaken League form from last year, where if you're sort of new or maybe didn't see what happened in Awaken League, mYinsanity ran through the entire season of Awaken League last year. Different roster, but the same core of mYlox and Kiva with a different third, until they got to the grand final, and then when they got to the grand final, they, got destroyed by Cloud Esports. But realistically, they are dominant. They have showed it time and time again in the Swiss scene. And while ZURA Esports is pretty new to the Swiss scene, they are certainly getting well acquainted with the team of mYinsanity, but they might be the ones throwing the first punches, although they are swept away by mYinsanity's impeccable defense.
Almost a really good opportunity there, but Rhino, the man who is able to do so much, he can't do it this time, and the defense from mYinsanity is definitely being something to talk about. But Rhino, with the miss, Prime comes in and just clutches that save. He keeps the hopes for ZURA Esports alive for the time being, but this mYinsanity team, they're not slowing down. They're playing brilliantly at the minute. And it's only about time until they get their second goal, really, and they further their lead unless ZURA Esports can get out of their own half. Rhino looking for Prime. Prime looking for Rhino again. Won't find him. Not a lot of boost. He can't jump for that. mYlux is already up. Kiva is as well. The double tap potential. It's not going to land. And instead, there's now counter-attack opportunities. Unless Kiva has something to say about it. He can't quite find the goal. We'll find Conchu nonetheless, but the ball is still on the field.
Yeah, I mean, this, you know, when you're faced with a reverse sweep, Lecky, I mean, I don't know about you, but I sort of weigh up in my mind how sort of realistic the chance of the reverse sweep is. I don't normally say 100%. This one, I feel like it is very close to 100%. I'm almost 100% certain this is going to be a positive reverse sweep from mYinsanity.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what you want to see, right? It's Rocket League. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to see the close moments. We want to see the reverse sweeps. We want to see the teams giving it their all. And mYinsanity, they definitely are. As Jester looks to put that in the back of the net and bring us closer to that reverse sweep that we're yet to see tonight. We have not seen one, and mYinsanity, they look to be bringing us our first as mYlux passes over to Jester and, like I said, makes us even closer to that reverse sweep.
Well, strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because Game 5 looks like it's on the horizon for the second time today. mYlux just trying to see what he can do there, but that's been whisked away really quickly, and Kiva dropped down. I mean, this is as destructive as you like it. That situation should never be close to resulting in a goal. But this mYinsanity team are working well with what they've got and really sort of just pulling apart this ZURA Esports team. TJ looking to try and bounce that off the back of his car. mYlux has taken over, but Conchu's able to pick it up and make sure that's not going to get any worse. Reno, see what he can do, but that's in field. It's going to have to be a triple commit as everyone's panicking on ZURA Esports. They just want this cleared away. They want this downfield. They want to try and get themselves a goal, but they're just being denied time and time again. Conchu, will he finally be able to make it happen? Yes, he will. And ZURA Esports have life for the first time in 10 minutes. I mean, Lecky Spec, to put this into perspective, it's the last time before this that ZURA Esports scored. I mean, you know, Katy Perry was in space for longer than ZURA Esports has scored their last goal.
Oh, crazy statistic to fill out there. Yes, she was. But, you know what? ZURA Esports, they're back in the swing of things. There's 50 seconds left on the clock. Is it a little bit too late? Maybe. Conchu has had to make a pretty important save, but mYlux, he's going to slot that in the back of the net. And, I mean, we're up for the reverse sweep. We're up all night because mYinsanity, they're going to drive us insane quite literally with the sleep deprivation that we're going to have. And 46 seconds left on the clock. Yes, it's possible for ZURA Esports, but it doesn't look likely.
Well, 45 seconds still left to go. Like you say, it's possible, but is it likely? Not really. TJ, I just play things back here. A bit of an awkward rotation for mYinsanity, but hopefully able to stabilize it, and yes, they are. Fire shots are going to continue to fire. mYlux, not a lot of boost, running on fumes here. But was just about able to get that one cleared away. TJ has a lot of boost to work with. Thought he'd just play for that 50, but tried to continue with the solo play. mYinsanity, you've got to be confident making moves like that. This is well and truly secured, but have this ZURA Esports team got something to say about it? No, it is going to be run downfield. It's mYinsanity, it's mYlux he puts in that fourth. And I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Game 5 on the horizon. I don't know what we're saying.
Oh, we could be seeing absolutely anything in this game number 5, right? We could be seeing the intense gameplay that mYinsanity have brought. They could continue it, or ZURA Esports, we might see that aggression that we saw earlier on. no one will exactly know until we're there. And I mean, both these teams just looking for a consolation goal now. You got to keep the ball up. One of the most prestigious rules in Rocket League. We've got to see if anyone can get consolation. Jester not able to quite make the touch on that. We'll let it hit the floor, and we will be able to go into game number 5. The reverse sweep. It is up for grabs for mYinsanity, but ZURA Esports, they stand in their way. They had 2 very promising first games, and they let it slip. So mYinsanity, you do have your work cut out for you, and you have just done a brilliant job so far, but ZURA Esports, they're not out just yet.
Game number 5 getting started, the last match of round number 4 here in the VisionGaming Invitational number 5, before we head to round 5 and then our playoffs tomorrow. So it's the sort of the penultimate, the final match of the penultimate series of the day here. Let's hope it's a good one. Game number 5, mYinsanity looking to reverse sweep ZURA Esports, who at this point are fighting for their tournament lives. I mean, when you look at the standings overall, ZURA Esports, the gauntlet was laid down in front of them, and they had such a difficult task to sort of claw themselves out of this point already. But I mean, if you are ZURA Esports, if you sort of lose this game, then well, I was going to say you've got someone difficult to face next, but if they lose this game, they've got a forfeit win in the next match. So it would help them out if they won this game, but if they don't, it's not the end of the world, is the best way to put it.
You know, you don't really have to win it, but it'd be nice for the stats, right? It'd be nice to go home and be like, yeah, we won that one. We should have ideally won it 3-0, but I mean, mYinsanity, they're just showing that they're here to play, and they kick us off with another goal. They kick us off with the first of this game, and they don't seem to be slowing down at all. Jester has been like the man of the match in most of these games for mYinsanity. We have seen him time and time again give passing plays, make solo plays, and honestly just kind of cook for the rest of his team. But ZURA Esports, they need to be able to do the same.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was helping out on that mYinsanity goal. You saw Kiva launch it downfield, Melox get a touch, and then TJ finish things off. So mYinsanity showing how they are such a teamy team, very much a team effort, and everything they do sort of reflects that. TJ looking for the redirect, but that's taken away. That would have been certainly a goal to set a statement in game number 5, but for both of these teams, it's about what do they have left in the tank. I mean, when you consider time zones right now, here in the UK, it's currently 10 o'clock. For these players, it's probably looking towards more like 11. So, you know, you're going to be... I think that's a perfect example of what happens when it starts to get late into the night. And you start to become a little bit tired. TJ apparently now has taken pity on ZURA Esports' previous 2 games and has now decided that he's going to assist them a little bit. He's going to join their team. So it's now a 4v2, everyone. And TJ has decided to... he's getting all the goals. He's not letting them score. He's now 2 goals in this game.
Yeah, do you know what? This game, if it ends up being like a 1-goal lead, and that's how ZURA Esports win, mYinsanity, you might just be kicking yourselves ever so slightly with TJ joining the other team, I suppose. But hey ho, that is Rocket League. We're going to score a couple of own goals. It's a bit of fun, and it gives a bit more challenge in mYinsanity. If anything, it says, yeah, we're better than you. We're going to take another one for the road as well. And yes, TJ, he was able to, you know, get that own goal and equalize for ZURA Esports. He's still able to get a goal and put mYinsanity back in the lead of this, and the reverse sweep is on.
It certainly is. What does Prime have to say about it? That's a humongous flick. Can Reno get on the end of it? Khonshu also getting involved. It's a team effort on the side of ZURA as they respond to mYinsanity sort of team play. It's team play for team play. All the cards are on the table. And Khonshu with an exclamation point, showing ZURA's frustration after the last 2 games as they look to deny this reverse sweep attempt. But mYinsanity, what do they have to say about ZURA's efforts?
Well, let's hope that they're able to respond pretty soon, because what we thought was going to be a pretty promising reverse sweep has turned into an opportunity for ZURA Esports to finally close this out. Rhino had to leave that for Conchu. There was not a lot of boost for him to work with. Instead, Conchu has plenty. The ball is going to work its way over him, so he's not able to get underneath it and perform like an air dribble, get the flip reset. He's just going to leave it for his teammate and get back on the end of it. mYinsanity is up, so is Conchu as well. It allows the ball to travel further in front of that blue net, but Rhino's not able to get to it. He is off the field. Kiever playing very aggressively, looks to find mYinsanity directly below him, but the ball will be sent flying back into this blue half of the field, and what is essentially a game of ping pong and hot potato. I mean, we don't know how this is going to turn out. Both these teams are having chance after chance, and they're not just finding the goal at the minute, they're finding passing plays, sure, they're finding demos, sure, but they're not finding the back of the net.
No, not yet. How long until that changes? 2-2, minute and a half left. You have to feel this very much could be golden goal territory for either team. Prime, oh my word, he's made a magic performance happen right there. And he's the magician, getting himself past all three members to take the lead here for ZURA Esports. They look to deny this reverse sweep, and what a shame it would be if it was off the back of an own goal from TJ.
I mean, ZURA Esports, you have essentially just bought your one-way ticket to the win, unless mYinsanity can put up the performance that they have been. ZURA Esports, we finally see that prime that they had at the start of this series. Can they keep it up? They're not comfortable. They're not out of the hot seat just yet. They're only one goal up as Prime looks to put another shot onto the blue net. It will be saved by mYinsanity, but Conchu looks to keep it alive. The ball finds itself in front of mYinsanity again, over to Rhino with the 50, and the ball hurling its way quickly towards this blue net. Won't go in the first time, but might go in the second. It's gonna ram its way off the post into the hands of Rhino, and what could have been a reverse sweep of a lifetime for mYinsanity. It's slipping away in ZURA Esports. Well, they're finding their mojo back, and they're finding essentially just the win.
The upset might be happening. The undefeated can be defeated. The unfelled can finally be taken down. And this squad, this team of ZURA Esports, they're looking to clinch themselves a playoff position. If they win this, that's a locked position. That's a locked-in spot. But can they close things out? 10 seconds left. You'd have to think that, I mean, you'd need a miracle to happen for this not to go the way of them. And I mean, 1 second remaining, it's over, it's done. The reverse sweep denied. ZURA Esports proving people wrong, shutting down mYinsanity's attempt and taking over here in game number 5. The upset has come into fruition, Liquipedia, and that's round 4 done. What an incredible series. Just a quick note, we are not going to be doing a quick break. We will be getting this lobby set up as quickly as possible and just jumping straight into round 5 due to running over schedule a little bit. But what an incredible series. What an incredible round. Best of 5. Love to see a good performance from both teams. Perfect Rocket League.
Yeah, perfect Rocket League from both teams, and I mean, ZURA Esports, yes, they let it fumble ever so slightly, and they gave mYinsanity the chance to claw their way back, but they shut them out. They gave them the chance and they said, okay, that's enough now. We want the win. And mYinsanity, it was great to see that the reverse sweep was on the cards, but unfortunately it was not the right cards to be dealt, essentially. Myth Esports versus VisionGaming next, though, and finally, this is going to be our last game of the night.
It will be. It'll be our last game of the night here. VisionGaming taking on Myth Esports, and we're going to get to see which of these powerhouses is going to come out on top. I think VisionGaming, in most people's eyes, was sort of power ranked to be that number 1 side, that side who is expected to sort of walk away with this with quite relative ease. But on the other side of things, we're looking at a team who's been a little bit of a surprise, a team who, you know, was expected and very much showed can have these sort of performances, but also people sort of question, like, you know, are you going to be able to produce this? You know, maybe not. We'll see. They've done that. They've won every series so far today, and so have VisionGaming. But now they meet in round 5, excuse me, and we are going to get to see which one of them at the end of the day can go undefeated here.
Yeah, so I mean, earlier on, we saw 2 teams that were at the bottom of the barrel face each other, and now we see the top. We see which one of these are essentially just going to crown the group, right? Which one of these are going to prevail? It's going to be very, very difficult because, I mean, you're both at the top, right? We said this last time that when you're both at the bottom, we don't know what to expect. It's the same thing. You're both at the top. You both played brilliantly. One of you, unfortunately, has to lose, and one will prevail, will be successful throughout all of their games and have a very good night's sleep, if I do say so myself. But one game, that's all that we have left, and I think we've probably left the best to last.
I think we have. I mean, you know, in terms of today, I mean, it's obviously been a lot of good moments, right? But what's sort of your one moment, like you spec, so far today, where you've been like, you know, wow, that is the best moment of the day so far?
I mean, I might have to give it to Dive Esports. I might have to give it to the way that they just absolutely they performed brilliantly. They performed like potential reels. It was the mechanical skill they showed was crazy. I would never be able to do any of that in a million years. I'm washed now, but I mean, it was definitely such like an incredible display of mechanics. So that was probably the best part for me tonight. But what's been the best part for you? There has to be 2 best parts, surely.
I think for me, if we're talking individual sort of goals, it's got to be that side of mYinsanity in that destructive game 3 they had, where we saw that goal from TJ, that incredibly mechanical goal. It was taken down a notch by the fact that they were already like winning like 7-1 or something, but it was still such a mechanical goal, such a crazy goal on 0 seconds. I thought, wow, that is the best goal I've seen today, and unfortunately it was at a time where it didn't really matter. But we do have the series underway. Esports, VisionGaming, number 1 and number 2 in Group A, and we're going to get to see a throwdown between the 2 top dogs in their groups. Remember, it's a seeding match here. One of them will go through to playoffs as the first seed from Group A. One of them will go through to playoffs as the second seed from Group A, and that can really matter when we start to talk about who you're going to be facing in the playoffs, because, you know, if you get through as number 1, congratulations, you earn a match against number 4 in the other group, and if you get through as second, then you get a match against number 3. But right now, the first goals come through. It's Esports who strike first, and they're not taking any chances so far.
We're not even a minute in, and there's already a goal. So what I'm going to predict is that this is going to be a very, just a very goal-heavy performance from both teams. I can hopefully presume. Yeah, there we go. Nish, he's going to prove me right. And there's the equalizer. There is the equalizer. There's the response that we needed to see from VisionGaming, the host organization of this Invitational. We're just in for a really good game of Rocket League. We've left the best to last, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see round 5, final match of the day. We've got Nation the Dominus, you know, a card that you don't necessarily see, but this is what it can do! Oh my word, Nation! What a goal to kickstart this game. That's what the Dominus brings to the table, and that's what Nation is showing in this match. 2-1, VisionGaming with an electric start to game number 1.
An electric start from them, but can they keep it up? Well, Nation looks to be doing that. He gets demo on 2 fears, and that's going to limit 1 player off the board. But Cell, maybe a bit too over-rotated. No, instead, it's fine. Just by the skin of his teeth, he's going to keep that alive, and the pass is going to make its way over to Mackie, but it will find Johnson nonetheless. Celt, not a lot of boost to work with. We'll get a touch but it's only a soft one at that, as he has to go pick up the 100 in the corner to even be able to do something, which he will now. Opt to try and get a second touch, won't quite find the ball, and instead Fears might find a double tap, but no, Naish is going to stand in his way. The aggression is still up there for Myth Esports, but as soon as I say that, it's a counter attack.
Well, that's put to a stop by Naish, and going to drop that down. Maki trying to take the shot, but Beaz going to block that. That's going to give a shooting opportunity now to Johnson to try and hammer that one home. Myth Esports tying things up here, and I think that's given us a little bit of a taster, Lecky, as to maybe how this series is going to unfold. Back and forth, blow for blow, punch for punch. And these two teams, they've shown us so much today. We're yet to see either of them on stream. This is where you've got to pull out all the stops.
Yep, both these teams, they have to give their A game if they want to remain at the top of the bracket, and both of them definitely are at the minute. It's going to be really hard to see which one will emerge victorious because they're so close at the moment, but there is a little opportunity for Celt to further the lead of VisionGaming. Johnson will collect it off of the backboard and will shortly put any attack at bay for the time being, as this ball finds its way in the midfield and over to Naish. Half boost will pass to Celt, who can't quite find the touch, but it's okay. Naish can find it. He'll find the post instead of the goal, and ultimately now should be a counter attack for Blue.
Let's see. That's a shot. Is it going to be saved away? Yes. Naish getting his hand on that one to keep the lines clear for VisionGaming as they look to now swap over, go on that attack, but it's been put to a stop momentarily. John's going to try and take over, get this started here for Myth Esports. A little bit of a missed opportunity there, but Celt just looking to play that 50. Being put to a stop, taken away. Lines are being cleared by Myth Esports as they look to try and dance around their oncoming attackers. But Naish taking things to the sky, got that reset, fakes it, looks to go low. Trying to play off of that cancel. But it's going to be fired back, and Myth Esports looking to just try and defend this, keep them blocked out, but feels like the pressure is too overbearing, and Celt's now getting himself on the score sheet as VisionGaming power their way into the lead in game one.
Up Celt making himself involved for the pass from Maki. It's going to find its way past Beaz and into the back of that blue net, and VisionGaming will find themselves in the lead of this, like you've said, and well, there's a minute 15 on the clock and anything's possible, but when the ball is still in this blue net, VisionGaming look to be in the swing of things, and they look to have control of this game unless Myth Esports can do anything about it. And Fears might be the one to set the fear a little bit in VisionGaming as he progresses up the field, but he's not able to get a touch on that ball. Will have to force a block in the midfield. Celt now trying to go for the air dribble bump. It won't quite work out for him, but they're still in the lead nonetheless. They don't really have to be scoring goals, but it'd be nice to get yourself in a bit more of a comfortable position.
It really would. Celt is going to try and play this from the corner. He's going to be beat back. Beaz trying to lead the charge for Myth Esports. Still 20 seconds for them to hunt for this goal. They're being denied on every opportunity. That's looking like it'll only continue. Naish take this into his own hands, play off of that touch, look for that double off of the post, but not allowed in the back of the net. Might not matter. 5 seconds remaining. He's just got to try and keep this ball out of the hands of Myth and ground that ball to a halt. VisionGaming taking game number one here in this series.
Yep, game number one in the hands of VisionGaming, the host organization. Will take game number one, 3-2. It's not a comfortable lead at all, and they definitely can't sit back and relax because Myth Esports, they're right behind them. They're ready to take games of their own, and I mean, essentially Myth Esports, they just have to get more of their team involved. Yes, Beaz, he topped the leaderboard, but didn't get any goals. He got 5 saves. He played brilliant defense for Myth Esports, and we just need to see him convert to goals. We need to see some more goal scorers for Myth Esports. Johnson was the only one to put up goals, and 2 he did, but VisionGaming, everyone from that team is taking part, and they are all playing the part they need to.
game number 2 getting started here. And who is going to be next to step forward in this series? Will VisionGaming double down on that performance? Or have Myth Esports maybe got a response? First class delivery ready and waiting here for VisionGaming. Bayaz already trying to go from his back corner on that edge dribble, but puts him a stop early, challenged by VisionGaming. And they're looking to really put up a dominant performance, and Mackie's already found the first. Lovely assist there by Selt, but VisionGaming, it's this team play that's getting them these opportunities, these shots. A lovely fake into a shot there, and they've got things dialed in here in game 2.
They're turning up the dial, and yes, they have one game under their belt, but they want the next. They want to take this in a 3-0 sweep, and it looks like that might be the case. Yes, it is only 4 minutes 30, left on the clock. We've only had 30 seconds, but they've come out swinging, definitely, and their defense is just incredible at the moment as well. Nish not able to get the block that he wanted to, but he's still going to allow the rest of his team to, well, have to make brilliant saves now because they couldn't get to that touch in time. Nish has to opt for boost and rotate back out, and Maki will be forced to make a touch over to Selt into that blue half of the field, and it will work its way up over into the hands of Selt once more as it works its way down from the backboard. Won't find anyone else. Instead, Nish will have to opt to be that third man to finally push up to the first position as Maki and Selt, a little bit of a double commit in the midfield. Will it be punished? Probably not, but it probably should have been.
Going to be got down there, and VisionGaming just looking to keep up this pressure. Myth Esports look to play off this counter attack. Fears has got this onto the back wall. Bayaz doesn't really have the boost to jump for it, recognises, and just backflips out of the way, and Bump's coming through to try and disrupt a bit of play here, but 50s in the midfield could dictate so much of this play. Bayaz over towards Johnson, infield as well, looking for this opening goal of the game are Myth Esports, and VisionGaming, I believe they've lost a couple of games so far this tournament, whereas coming into this series, the only team who hadn't lost a game was Myth Esports. They'd gone perfect, but unfortunately that's come to an end for them. They've lost their game, and VisionGaming are the ones to take it away from them. Now they look to double up on that, but what can Myth Esports do to try and stop that from happening?
Yeah, I mean, now they have found their match, and ultimately they need to claw their way back, and that's exactly what they're doing. Fears able to equalize game number 2 with a pass from Johnson. Maki not able to make it there in time, and 2 minutes 30 on the clock. We have an equal game. VisionGaming, they just weren't able to get there in time. They didn't have players in the right spots, and well, it was only a matter of time before the equalization came out, but you would think it would have been a bit of a harder fight, a harder battle for Myth Esports to get that past VisionGaming. Nish, flip reset,
no way.
Get another one. He doesn't have the boost, and that would have been clip of the day, definitely.
It would off. Shouldn't quite have the boost to stay with the play, and VisionGaming seems like whenever they get the opportunity, they'll happily just freestyle on Myth Esports. But Myth, they've shown us what they can do, and now they're going to have to sort of get this out of their half, go back to square one. Wasn't quite the touch that Johnson probably wanted from down the field, and that's certainly a mistouch that they won't want to have, a mistake they won't want to make, and that's actually a lovely interception. What has Fears just done? I didn't expect that. I'm assuming you didn't expect that. He might not have expected it, but it ended up being a perfect pass from Selt. What a lovely interception from Myth Esports.
Yeah, lovely indeed. They find themselves in the lead of game number 2. They can't sit too comfortable because they're only 1 goal up, but now they are in the lead, so they don't essentially need to go for crazy plays until now because Maki has equalized once again. We thought Myth Esports, they had the lead. Not for long. Maki's able to take us to an equal game, and well, VisionGaming, they're not out of it just yet.
Maki loaded into this game, and I think he got the wrong game mode. I think he queued for the 2v2 Hoops tournament taking place at 10 o'clock rather than the VisionGaming Invitational number 5. But no, I think Myth Esports, they're showing so much promise here, so much sort of hope. But VisionGaming, time and time again, just finding something, finding a response, finding everything they need to. But will they be able to continue doing that? Maki trying to play it low off of the demo. Nation's missed that one. That's going to give the opening over to Johnson. 3-2. And Myth Esports have grabbed that lead back.
They've grabbed it back, but will it be in their hands for long? Honestly, God knows at this rate, because VisionGaming, they keep clawing their way back to an equal game, and I can honestly see this going to overtime if Myth Esports don't, you know, if they make mistakes. So they just need to be on their A game, stay in the lead, and that's exactly what Beyaz is going to do.
Well, that was certainly catastrophic a little bit, but from that situation, it's not an easy save. VisionGaming looking like they're going to potentially drop game number 2. We've got a series on our hands. And right now, Myth Esports, they're looking to try and finish strong here in match number 2. Will they be able to do that, or VisionGaming still got something queued up for us, something ready to go? Maki just trying to keep that in the air and allow Nash a shooting opportunity. He's just faked that, but none of his teammates are really there to sort of play a little bit of a supporting role in this cast that VisionGaming have introduced us to in these past 2 games. Nash going to launch this downfield, but right now you have to feel that Myth Esports have just walked away with this game, and it looks like that's going to be the case.
Yup, 7 seconds on the clock in Myth Esports. They have walked away with it. There's nothing that VisionGaming can do except take the L on this game and move forward as we head into an equal series and game number 3 as Myth Esports take this 4-2.
Myth Esports answering back there, like you said, and I think this is going to be such a sort of... I do hope we get this game once again in the playoffs, if I'm completely honest with you, because this seems like such a sort of good matchup between these 2 squads. Both of them seem to sort of fit each other's playstyles on the pitch so well. I mean, you've got essentially counter-attack Rocket League at its finest. Both of these teams playing such sort of brilliant attacking sides, and then for them it's essentially just about making sure that they're staying composed, making sure the rotations are perfect, they're not leaving their backlines open, they're not conceding stupid goals. And you know, when both of those teams are perfecting at that, it gets very, very difficult to start getting goals past them. So let's see as we enter game number 3 and we get to see who is going to be next up to step up.
Yep, who is going to be the next team to step up? Well, you guys will have to find out when production shows you the game, won't you? Because we're seeing it, and we're seeing a pretty stalemate start so far. Hey, there we go. Big up production. There we go. We're back into the swing of things.
Well, 30 seconds in, and like you say, been a pretty slow start, but who's going to catalyze that? Who's going to start things off and make themselves known on the pitch? So far, nothing too much, but some pressure from Myth Esports that could result in a goal. Oh my word, what a save, as it's kept away there by Selt. Beyaz, we're looking to try and keep this ball in this VisionGaming half, but the thing is, there's no one from his team ready to get involved in the action, so it now will shift into a VisionGaming counter-attack. Selt looking to hurl it on the back wall. Who is next up? Nash looking to cause some damage in the Octane now. Shifted out of the Dominus and certainly got himself ready, prepared for this game. A new car. Let's see what it can do on the pitch. And so far, nothing much. It's been, you know, some close shaves from Myth Esports. really testing Vision Gaming's defense, but now they're going to look to drop that down, look to connect those passing plays. The passing play wasn't there. However, on the other side of the field, it's looking like Myth Esports are trying to piece something together, but denied once again.
The shot just wasn't there from Johnson, unfortunately, and we're still scoreless as we hit the 3 minutes mark. But Myth Esports, they've come out swinging as Johnson looks to redeem himself, but Naish is in his way. This save from him will keep that out for the time being, and well, we're at that 3 minute mark. There's still no goals on the board, but there's bound to be one eventually with how aggressive, how fast these teams are playing. It's got to happen. There we go. Maki will be the first to score in round number 3. Vision Gaming, they take the lead.
Taking the lead, getting that first goal to start off the game. Vision Gaming, we've seen what they're able to do when they get the lead. Quite difficult to claw it away from. Myth Esports managed to in the last game. It's a good success, but have they got something else cooked up in the locker? Johnson trying to go from the ceiling, but it's going to be put to a stop, and they're going to try and continue this offense. Oh my word. Myth Esports, when they get that ball in your half, get prepared, get ready.
Yeah, get prepared. That's exactly what they need to do, and ultimately, they weren't prepared for Johnson there, who is able to bring us to that equalizer as we head down into the 2.5 minutes mark. Both these teams putting up a stellar performance, but one is going to prevail. Johnson with the pass down to Beaz. It's beautiful, but it won't find its way in. It's ever so slightly off target. And well, the demos are now coming out to try and make another attack out of a lost opportunity for Myth Esports. As there's a pass to Johnson, who won't find another touch, won't find Beaz either, and he'll have to find himself rotating out and playing third man for the time being, as there's a shot on target, but miscommunication from Myth Esports. It just is poor making mistakes like that at this late in the day.
It really is. Now Johnson going to try and fire this downfield. Myth Esports, what else have they got for us? I mean, in terms of this game so far, they've had the majority of the shots. Somehow Vision Gaming have got no shots and 1 goal. So that's certainly an interesting one. But now that's certainly a shot, and that's certainly a goal. Vision Gaming looking to increase their lead. They've done just that. Lovely fake there by Maki, and Naish sends everyone to the shops.
Yeah, he's gonna send them exactly to the shops. He's gonna send Vision Gaming into the lead of the series, and well, 2-1 up, but not for much longer. Johnson's fighting back, and 2 goals this game allows Myth Esports to keep their hope alive, as we're in an equal game once again, thanks to the man that's constantly on the ball for Myth Esports. Vision Gaming, they thought they saw a glimmer of hope. They thought they finally had the lead of things, and we're finally getting comfortable, but you can't stay comfortable when you're playing against a team like Myth Esports, who they're clawing back, they're fighting back no matter what. As we head into the minutes mark, Johnson, he's on the ball again, and he's honestly just putting up a stellar performance for Myth Esports. But will it be enough as bumps are coming out everywhere? Selt with a shot over to Naish, who gets it past one, but Fears is in the way as he tries to send it down to a teammate, but instead it will land into the hands of Selt.
Beaz taking this one, no boost to work with, just trying to set up the lane for Johnson, but it's been taken away, and Selt now pass over. Naish looks to dunk it down, but that's just off the crossbar. And another chance wasted there by Vision Gaming. Myth Esports, can they turn things around and look to get themselves back in the lead here when time is such a necessity? These last few shots, these crucial moments can dictate so much of this game now. 20 seconds remaining here. Who is going to get their team a lead in this series?
I mean, we could be going to overtime unless that ball finds its way in. Oh, Naish! He will take Vision Gaming in the lead of this series, and what I thought was going to be an overtime, it's not, as there's a little mistake from Myth Esports. Players are too far up. Yeah, it's not little, it's quite a big mistake in fact, and well, Myth Esports, you have 10 seconds. You need a great kickoff. Is it going to go your way? Bayaz, plenty of boost to work with. You need to make something here. You need to make magic happen as the ball flies high, but it's into the wrong hands. It's into the hands of Celt, who looks to take a consolation goal for VisionGaming. And ultimately, this ball needs to stay up. It needs to stay alive for this blue half. Johnson, not a lot of boost. Bayaz is down to a half tank, and well, you might as well just write Myth Esports out. So Celt takes a constellation goal, and well, VisionGaming will find themselves in the lead of the series 2-1.
Celt just came down on that goal like some sort of meteor coming down from outer space. And VisionGaming walking away with game number 3, taking the lead in the series and putting Myth Esports on the back foot here. They've got to find a win in game number 4. Or VisionGaming going to be walking away with a series win and the final series of the day here at the VisionGaming Invitational, hosted at the VisionGaming LAN, of course. But I have to say, I think this could go either way. I think this is so up in the air, this matchup. Game number 4 could go either way. Game number 5, if we get it, could go either way. It's such a coin flip matchup between these two teams, and I think it is just going to be about who makes the least mistakes.
Yeah, both these teams are putting up a great performance, and it's really equal. It's hard to back a team, essentially, of VisionGaming. Yes, they're in the lead, but Myth Esports, they're clawing back, and we've seen that time and time again. We're about to see it probably again once more, and we might be sent to another match after this, if Myth Esports have anything to say about it. But are VisionGaming going to stop them in their tracks? Are they going to take the day gracefully with no losses? Well, only time will tell.
Aish controlling this so well in the air, looking to keep VisionGaming well within a winning scenario in game 4. Doesn't want that game 5 for good reason. And so far, VisionGaming, they've held the ball in their half, in the other opponent's half for the majority of the game, but forced back after 30 seconds of joy to now have to maybe play a little bit of defense. Got to be worried about their backlines as well. Bayaz trying to put that on target, but Maki should have a good collection. Got to be forced into that 50 soon after, and VisionGaming, they've been sort of pressuring the other team's sort of offense, but now they're forced into defense, and now they're maybe struggling a little bit.
Yup, struggling, but I mean, Myth Esports, they're certainly not struggling to put up a bit of an attack. Johnson, this man, he's been on the ball consistently in this series. He's not quite able to do anything with it as of yet, but he's going to pick up that 100 boost and up to go again. Bayaz pass over to Johnson. Will further this ball up the field over to Bayaz once more off the backboard. Will finds Fierce, but Fierce won't find the back of the net as Celt is there. Bayaz putting up another shot on target. Will not find the back of the net, and Maki, very low boost, has to opt for the low 50 to allow Naish to take to the skies and, well, shake the ball over to Celt on that right hand side. It's not going to find him, and it's an opportunity for a passing play if Maki can get the shot on target. He can't, so Celt has to opt to do it for him.
Well, Bayaz, what's he going to be able to cook up here from that back corner? Johnson taking over. No boost really anywhere apart from Bayaz, and that now leaves the back lines exposed, and Celt almost exposing Myth Esports on their, questionable defense there. But Myth Esports, while they find themselves a little bit out of rotation, they might be able to beat back on the other side of things and go on the offense, but no, it's turned around. It's back and forth between these two squads. Would we have it any other way? Absolutely not. Into the corner this ball finds itself. Fears back to Bayaz. Johnson lurking upfield. Naish has got to get a good touch here. He's able to contain that ball sort of close to VisionGaming's chest, keep it in their possession. Now on the offense, VisionGaming go. They've got two players ready to sort of take this into their own hands. Who's going to go for the shot? Was originally taken over, but then bumped off the play, so things had to sort of change to a bit of a plan B. But so far, VisionGaming and Myth Esports still scoreless. Who's going to break the ice first in game 4?
Only time has got to tell. One of these teams are going to have to do it eventually, but it's a very, very close game. VisionGaming, now they look to be in the swing of things with Celt pushing further up the field. Nish, he takes to the skies once more, and well, he'll take to the backboard. Mackie will take to the goal, and it won't find its way in, but we still have aggression from VisionGaming. I mean, not for long with Johnson sending it over into the orange half, and Fears will collect that ball from Mackie. Nish able to make the block that he needs. Will get a second touch, but will have to opt to leave it for Cell to have the boost to do something else with the ball. Nish, again, not a lot of boost, but will opt for the pinch just to buy some time for his team to get back and get replenished on the boost that they don't seem to have at the minute. Nish can't do much with that either. Instead, we'll have to opt for Mackie to stand like a wall and, well, take the ball further up the field into this blue half. Bayaz not able to do much either. This ball will find itself once again in the hands of Nish, and we're still scoreless. There's 45 seconds left, and we might have an overtime that really, really depends on everything.
Nish taking that one over to Mackie. He's got the chance to make the magic happen, and has he just picked the pockets of Myth? No, not quite. The ball's still in play on this side of the field. Everyone fighting, clawing to get themselves these touches, these little pixels that can matter so much in the context of not just this game, but this series and this tournament as a whole. Nish popping that one up, and over to the sidewall it goes. Bayaz, can he make the magic happen at the dying seconds of this game? No, taking away Johnson. Can he call game, or is overtime looming? Shot blocked away. And back over to this wall. 0 seconds we find ourselves at now. But can Fears slosh it home? No, he can't. Overtime calling. And who's going to break the ice and make the magic happen?
Oh, VisionGaming, they've definitely had the better of the kickoff, but now, I mean, it ultimately doesn't matter. Nish, he's up. He finds himself at the backboard once again. Celt not able to slot it in the back of that blue net. And, well, Nish has to get back. There's a demo out for Celt. That could have been extremely bad for VisionGaming, but they luckily stay alive with the skin of their teeth. Celt, with an absolute snipe, will take it over every player of eSports. And what we thought could have been a very long overtime, well, ends up being over in just 28 seconds as VisionGaming, they claw their way to a 3-1 win against eSport, and well, they stand at the top of their bracket proud as they take every single game that they have today. They win it all, and eSports, unfortunately, their story of winning has to end there as VisionGaming, they knock them in their tracks.
Yeah, I mean, VisionGaming taking that game down in a very, very dominant fashion when you look at the sort of what happened. And we're going to get now a chance to sort of look at who's going to be facing who in our playoffs, who is going to be creating themselves a very good bracket to try and go the whole way, quarters, semis, and grand finals. Group stage, done. Now it's single elimination bracket. You know, single elimination, easy, basic as you like it. Quarter, semis, finals, like I just said. And we do have our 8 teams who qualified for those playoffs. So, really entertaining series, and what a performance from VisionGaming. And I think, you know what, I think we could have just seen a very close look at what our grand finals could potentially look like. But we obviously do have to look forward to our playoffs, and just to sort of have a look at who is going to be facing who. The teams qualified for playoffs are VisionGaming, Myth Esports, Dive Esports, BS+COMPETITION, Austrian Force, mYinsanity, ZURA Esports, Flyback Esports 2, and the teams who unfortunately have missed out are Predators Esports, FireGoldSharks, Umi, and Rusty Esports, who forfeited the tournament. So, you know, a good performance across the board there, Liquipedia. But when we talk about who is going to be facing who, I'll read the matchups out, and you can give me one that you're going to be sort of looking forward to, that you're going to be locked in with tomorrow in the quarterfinals. So, first of all, VisionGaming going to be taking on Flyback Esports, and then next is going to be Myth Esports taking on Myth Esports taking on ZURA Esports. Then it's going to be Dive Esports taking on mYinsanity. Then it's going to be BS+COMPETITION taking on Austrian Force.
Oh, I mean, it's all going to be great games to watch, definitely. But I want to see more from BS+COMPETITION. I do want to see they shouldn't have been a team that went into, when we saw them, they didn't win any of their games, right? So I think they're definitely a roster that we expect highly of, and I think today maybe was just their off day. So hopefully in the playoffs tomorrow they have a better day.
Yeah, I think, you know, it could go either way for any of these teams. We'll see how that all develops tomorrow. But, you know, if you want to keep in touch with anything regarding the playoffs, when it's going to be happening, who's going to be playing, the matchups that are going to be happening, then make sure to head on over to the VisionGaming socials and Discord to see what is going to be happening on that side of things. And actually, it seems like we have a last-second change in the playoffs matchups that I have missed, and it's mYinsanity reporting their score, and they will now be the number 1 seed from Group 2, so they will now play against BS+COMPETITION in their quarterfinals match. But so we think we know what's happening with playoffs, but if you want to stay tuned, if you want to be in the know-it-all for tomorrow, head on over to those VisionGaming socials, that VisionGaming Discord, and get yourself, you know, knowledged up on tomorrow. But, you know, before we close things out for the day, Liquipedia, just a little bit of reflection. We talked about best individual moments, but what's been your favourite series of the day? I mean, we've had 2 Game 5s, a couple of Game 4s, a sweep as well. It's been a pretty good day content-wise. Which one stood out the most to you?
It's so hard to actually, you know, like, pick a game because, like you said, they have all been brilliant, right? But it's got to be that first game that we saw. The 5 games that we had saw at the start, I mean, it set the tone for tonight, right? We knew that we were going to get some long games, and, well, what a way to kick us off. They definitely, they took everything from us to cast all of that, so I think our first game definitely, that kind of set the tone essentially, so yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I know my favourite series was probably the first Game 5 that we got to witness. I know we can't talk on the stream, but Kasalian's favourite match was absolutely the 1 sweep that we got, as it allowed him to hopefully get to bed a bit sooner. But we've got everyone's favourite matches, and you'll hate me for this, but I'm going to continue it a bit longer. Liquipedia, if you've got an MVP for the day, as a quick final thing before we close things out.
Oh, MVP of the day. God, I really didn't think about this. If I have to, even though Myth Esports they didn't you know take the W with VisionGaming, I think Johnson, just with what we saw from him there, a lot of Myth Esports relied on him. Yes, the other players they played well, but Johnson was putting up a lot of passing plays, a lot of solo plays, and ultimately gave Myth Esports the chance to go as far as they did with VisionGaming. So I think it had to be Johnson.
I think that's a sort of good way to look at it. I think for me, it's either got to be between people on VisionGaming or mYinsanity. We saw both of them. They had great performances. The teams who we expected to do well, for the majority, did well. But VisionGaming, I think if I'm to pick one off of each roster, Naish from VisionGaming was top of the leaderboard every time, leading the way, playing sort of a disruptive play style to keep the other team guessing. And on mYinsanity's side, probably would have to go with TJ. I mean, the guy was everywhere. The mechanics were in full display, and is a great addition to this roster to hopefully guide them to a title tomorrow. But we'll see how that goes for them and the rest of the teams playing tomorrow. And for now, we will close things off for the night. So it's been an incredible day of action. Make sure to come back tomorrow because 7 p.m. in the European, is it Central European time? 7 p.m. Central European time is when you want to be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. BST for those playoffs. So that's been it from us. That's been it from Liquispec and myself. And have a good night, everyone. Hopefully sleep better than Kasalian, and we'll see you all tomorrow for the playoffs.